Yeah. Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never lie, now you see us blowing up. People used to front, now you see them showing up. So what's up? I've been down and out, but look, keep it a buck, I don't always been one up on all of these. They be trying to front for all of these. Man, I ain't got time cause they all in they feelings. Ice to the gang and we making a killing. It's 2020 and they notice the vision. You be the hero, I'm playing the villain. The underdogs and we walking the building. We getting money, yeah, they think that we dealing. They talking hot, yeah, they opponents and we won't stop till we all touch a million. Don't ever forget, but we probably forgive them. I'm living, taking the cause that was given. My blessings is already written. Wrapped little ribbon, putting ourselves in positions to making some major decisions. Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never lie, now you see us blowing up. People used to front, now you see them showing up. So what's up? I've been down and out, but look. I'm trying to get where I'm going, but haters be trolling, that's where they thinking you got me right where you want me. I tell a ghost just ducked up. Sending them shots, we send them back. Yeah, ain't really bout that. Run, it's always bounce back. Need more hands just to count that. Stay on my belly, I need me more breeze just so we can get the team right. Loaded up fully, dogs on a leash, and you be knowing that's a scary sight. Don't happen overnight. Work smarter with some sacrifice. Sugar spice and everything nice. Mix it up, now you got a slice. We bridging the gap, they want us to rap, so fuck we back. Yeah. Drew need a plaque, we turn to the max and we never lacked. Yeah. Been in my bag, it's a drag, I'm feeling jet lagged. Yeah. Came back for Vicky and I ain't unpacked, cause I'm going back. Facts, ooh, double the racks. TD the bank, your CD's blank. Your Cuban is link, smoking that dank. Pour up a drink, fill up the tank. Do you think I ain't the one, but I'm the one. Who does I whoop? He gon' dumb, you hear them drums. Came from the slums, they know we the ones, yeah. Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never is blowing up. People used to front, now you see them showing up. So what's up? I've been down and out, but look, keep it a buck, I don't fuck with you.
What's up, everybody? What's happening? The GRG podcast is live. Sorry, apologize for the late start. We already kind of start late as it is, but I understand it was a little bit later. We was trying to wait on Bloody because he was saying he was having connection issues. Our boy PK, I don't know, he was repping some sports team or something. I don't know. He was having a problem with his logo or something. I have no idea what was going on, but it was bright.
Blinding.
It was blinding.
Oh
so we were trying to wait on those guys to get it together. But anyway, they'll be coming in here in a little bit. So anyway, we got plenty of stuff to talk about. So we need to go ahead and start knocking it out. Without further ado, let's get to the team. Starting off with Livewire, man, on time. What's going on with you, Livewire? What's happening, brother?
Oh, nothing much. Just chilling. I'm playing a lot of games this week, between Battletoads and Madden dropped. I'm not a huge Madden fan, but I got a chance to play. I got EA access, so I was like,
I'm going to
gotta try it.
ass.
And Flight Simulator, you know what I mean? And I played even a little bit Ghost of Tsushima, so yeah, just gaming.
Productive.
Got you. Very productive this week. Nice.
Yeah, like that.
All right, then moving on down the line, 108 Dragons TV. What's happening with you, man? What's going on?
Yeah. You already know we ain't got a lot of time. We got a lot of topics. We're gonna get this shit done. But let me just say something for the record. Yo, K Mega, I got well, I should have had 4 victories in Madden. It was dropping today. I'm coming for your head, bruh. I'm loving Madden 21. I'm loving it. I'm coming for you. And Flight Simulator, for those who got a nice PC and can run it, excellent game. What else I played? Oh, I will be doing a small unboxing because people did already. But Ghost of Tsushima Collector's Edition, it should be here by Tuesday. I'll be having that, dropping that on the channel. And yeah, I'm just happy to get into these topics. We got some great ones. Let's go.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. And moving on down the line, man. Slayer, what's going on with you? Slick, what's going on, brother?
Oh man, well, Livewire was productive. Myself, not as much productive, man. Mostly a little YouTube here and there, and mess around with VR. I finally got this adapter, so I didn't have to switch to HDMI's on my VR headset and my TV all the time. So the VR getting a lot more use. Whew, man, I'm downloading that flight simulator right now. In fact, I had to pause it for the show. Can't wait to try that out in VR.
All right, nice. All right, I see our boy is here. He's not blinding us with science. What's
Thank
going
God.
on with you, PK? What's happening, man? I'm glad you got your situations fixed, man. What's going on with you, man? What you been playing?
Hey, happy Friday, family and friends. I'm glad to be here. I've been very busy. I mean, I jumped from Fall Guys to Battletoads back to PSO2. I mean, I just had a very busy week on gaming, that's for sure. Played some Dead by Daylight. Not good at the game, but I played it. You know what I'm saying? Getting some gaming in on that game that everybody seems to like. Still not my type of game, but I had fun with it regardless.
Nice. No doubt about it. All right, and like I said, Bloody said he was going to be trying to come in. He got connection issues, but we don't know. I don't know if he can make it or not. But all right, let's get on. Let's get on with it. Man, started right off for the very first topic. Let's talk about Flight Simulator and talk about Battletoads. And actually, really, all the games that's coming out on Game Pass. This just here just recently. I mean, we got the new Super Lucky's Tale. You got
Facts.
Tell Me Why coming. You got Wasteland 3. You got you got Flight Simulator, and you also have Battletoads that all dropped. I mean, the two big ones of sports, especially the ones that people have been playing the most, look like would be Battletoads and Flight Simulator. So let me go over here and talk to 108 Dragons first on this, man. What is your thoughts about either one of these games? Which one of these games would be your favorite? And then also, what is it that this says about all the content that gamers are getting through Game Pass, man? And your thoughts.
All right. You said Flight Simulator between Simulator and what?
It's Flight Simulator and Battletoads. We're talking about those main two.
Okay,
but then
okay.
if you want to add the stuff about Game Pass with Tell Me Why, that's going to be dropping, and then next week is going to be Wasteland 3. Super Lucky Tale dropped today too.
The new
Super Lucky Tale. Yeah,
which I didn't even know they was making.
I had no idea either. I mean, but it's just saying, it's content.
We got to get to that. Before I start, get to my man Thomas Frank with that $14.99 super chat. Let's go, K Mega, read that.
Man, he says my brothers, GRG, we are doing it live. He says love supporting good people on the GRG crew, even the new guys that joined the crew. Respect to you, brothers, no doubt, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Been down, been with us from the very beginning, man. I definitely appreciate you, Rain, and so many others, man. We definitely appreciate the support and love, man. No doubt about that.
Let me jump right into this. First of all, let me get a quick history. Flight Simulator is a game I never thought was gonna come to PC. I mean, come to console because it was PC heavy, hardcore centric. I popped it in my PC, and I got a monster PC. My God, if you like flight simulating games, and it's like playing 2K over NBA Jam. It's a simulator, but to be able to do the landing and the cockpit views, the game is truly surpassing any plane game ever created. But what's different is they got like an arcade style scoring system for making great landings and The game is fantastic. Now, Super Lucky Tales, good game. Being on Game Pass, I'm gonna say this for the record. I feel overwhelmed with the amount of titles we just got on Game Pass. I don't even know what to play. From Battletoads to Flight Sim on my PC, you know I'm not a heavy PC player. 2 games got me on PC, Gears Tactics and Flight Simulator. And let me tell you why Flight Simulator, to the people in the chat, let me tell you why that's dear to my heart. When I was in high school, we had an aviation program, and before they dropped it, the city did some BS and dropped certain programs, and that was one of them. I was 25 hours from getting my pilot's license. So to practice the simulator we had in school, I used to play Flight Simulator. And it was damn near picture perfect at that time for that era. But to see how well and how much work the dynamic weather, like it's doing everything like a Google Maps, but just with the planes. I really think it's amazing. Only thing is bad, it needs a performance patch for general people. You know what I'm saying? You really need to have serious hardware to see like the dynamic cloud features. It's crazy when you in the air and to see like the sunrise and or with a sun, which it's like a sunset. What's in between? What you call that again? Is it a sunset?
Sunset, yeah.
But it's right. Yo, listen, the HDR is crazy. It looks fantastic, and I pay one price, and it's on Game Pass on PC. All I gotta do is just click and download. It's like, wow, we might be overachieving with Game Pass because new Super Lucky Tales, you know what I'm saying? They just dropping titles, man. Even third party that's supporting Game Pass. It's just a great situation, man. And I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't on Game Pass when they first announced it. I can't get rid of my Game Pass now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
No, yeah, it's a really good thing. Did you get a chance to play Battletoads yet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what did you think about that?
Okay, you wasn't in here. You had put the link out. I was telling Sick. I said, me and you both saw this game at E3 last year, and it was in front of Forza with the Lego car in the corner.
Yeah.
We both looked at the game and was like, nah, we're not playing that. we kind of like overlooked it. It went to Madden or whatever else. Battletoads is arcade perfect fun. The graphics are improved. The level design is crazy. You know, to bring up another game that got many different aspects of different genres in it. It's like a Nier Automata with the side scrolling,
I was
3D
thinking
shooting,
the same
the 3D
thing when
level,
I was playing it.
platforming.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
you got everything covered. The game is extremely amount of fun. Even when you play by yourself, you're allowed to switch between the characters, and it's comical. It has a sense of humor. It has personality. It has great colors. You know what I'm saying? Like Streets of Rage 4. I keep telling people, Streets of Rage 4, if you're a Streets of Rage fan, that surpasses all of them. It's like a Street Fighter game on side scrolling. It's awesome. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying Battletoads, and I definitely crapped on it last year, but I crapped on for what I saw. I didn't crap on it for what it could be. What we saw was not impressive. When they showed the trailer, I called Bloody, and if he was here, he would tell you, I see your Bloody. Did you see the trailer? That is not what we was looking to play last year at E3. He said, well, I'll play this the same. I said, hell no, it's not the same. They didn't even have that many colors. It looked like Zaxxon. That's how many colors it had. It was
wow,
bad.
you took it to the Zaxxon.
Zaxxon had 3 colors.
Wow.
And so did Battletoads. I said, I'm not playing that because listen, you know I don't talk about nothing I don't play. So if I play it, I got to talk about it. So I didn't want to bash it. So I said, you know what? I'll wait till they get a little bit further in development, then I'll talk about it. Same thing I did with Halo. Infinite, same thing. I keep that track record up, Sick. But what I'm saying is, when I saw the trailer, I said, they're covering all bases. They got 3D going into the screen levels, side-scrolling 3D levels, 2.5D levels. I'm like, yo, they got it. It's like Nier Automata with all the different cameras and different angles and different games. I'm with that. Excellent game. Sleeper hit. People that got Game Pass that try it out is gonna be they're not gonna uninstall that. You got on couch co-op. and you got online co-op. And we never had that in a Battletoads game. And they ain't talking about
they don't
game
got
ain't
No,
no big.
they don't got online
They don't
co-op.
got
No,
that
no
yet.
online.
No, no
Nah,
online.
not yet.
Oh,
Not
my
yet.
bad.
It's
I
like
thought they had online
Cuphead.
too.
I don't think they have it from Cuphead either.
No, they didn't.
Oh,
They didn't. That's supposed to be coming here. I think.
oh,
in
I thought they had
September.
it. I assumed. My bad.
Nah,
Yeah,
But
not yet.
I
got
did
it.
play it by myself, and I was highly impressed because I expected nothing out of that game. So I'm very impressed. Covered a lot of genres. I love it, and it's fun. It's fun. It's a break from the seriousness of PUBG and everything else I play, which I'm just competitive and 2K and stuff like that. It's good to relax and just bash in my head and then laugh about their jokes and seeing their foot swell up when you kick 3 people. So they knuckles get crazy. It's a fun game. I love it. I'm done.
That's really cool.
I'm sorry.
All right, no, you good. You good. All right, cool. Let me go to PK on this one. What was your Let me just kind of back up on my question because I kind of overloaded it. I was over here reading something when I said what I said when I started it off with Lemon. But let me just start off with just Flight Simulator and then just with Battletoads. Did you get a chance to play either one of those games, and what do you think about either one of those, PK?
So I didn't play Flight Simulator, but
Mhm.
I damn near 1,000 out of 1,000 Battletoads.
Are we not
Not-
surprised?
I'm like 800
Of
achievements in,
course
but
not from him, and not in this game.
Right.
And K
Yeah.
Mega too.
so this is my jam. I do like beat 'em ups.
Right.
I would say, of course, everyone's disappointment is no online co-op, but let's just put it this way: there's a lot of beat 'em ups like this, right? River City Girls doesn't have online co-op. Even the famous Scott Pilgrim did not have online co-op when it launched.
Until
They
a year
added that-
later.
They
Yeah,
added it
it's a
later.
miracle.
Yeah.
So that doesn't say that this can't have online co-op. It may actually get a patch down the
I
road.
assumed it had it. I assumed.
Outside of that, it does not take away the fact that the game is fun, and for those who don't have Game Pass, the price is hard to beat. $20.
Mhm.
Damn. Your question
Streets of Rage
answered.
4
Yeah.
is 30.
It's
When
30.
you think about that,
But it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
30. River City Girls 30. All I'm saying is it for it to be $20, that is hard to deny that this game isn't a good pickup. I said, now after I played this game, I said, like, look, Microsoft needs to take this game and go ahead and make a franchise out of this and get a cartoon show going and start making merch, selling toys, et cetera,
Like they originally
because-
wanted to in the first place.
because this game is literally like watching Rick and Morty.
Yes.
And oh my God, it's insane.
Facts.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
I
Saturday morning fun,
won't
son.
go as far as Rick and Morty,
No.
but yeah.
Yes, it is. It's just
The comedy is crazy.
No, the
The
comedy is
comedy-
crazy, but I won't go as Rick and Morty. Rick and
It-
Morty is
No.
very
It's
clear. It's
bleak and
very,
black.
very, very,
No.
very clear. I would say more.
what I'm saying is
I
it
would
has
say more
the-
Teen Titans Go. I would go there. I
No,
would say that.
no, I won't say that at
Or
all.
you could say the Simpsons.
No, I won't say that at all. It has a lot of adult humor in it, K Mega.
It
You may
does.
not
No,
have
it
seen
does. No, I'm
Teen
I'm-
Titans Go is no.
It has some. It has
It
some.
literally alluded to him smashing the alien chick. Come on, man.
I know. I know. Old girl bend over and says, "You can take my butt." That was cracking me up. That was
PG-13.
Hey,
Yeah.
no, she
So
did. She
I-
did.
Hey,
Hey, when
I'm just saying
the
it
evil
alluded
queen
to
did that,
the
crack me up.
point.
Anyway,
The
go
point
ahead.
is, they need to go ahead and take this while it's hot and go ahead and just put it in a make a cartoon. Everybody will watch it. The humor is on point. It's silly, doesn't take itself serious. As far as the gameplay is excellent. It's not just a beat 'em up. And that's what's the most attractive thing about it. It does a lot of other stuff like the old game. And it's basically a true sequel to the old game because it takes place 26 years after the old game.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome though. The game is awesome.
It has a lot going on with it and a lot
Yeah.
a lot of personality. I really, really love. Most of the time I like Streets of Rage. I got bored with this cutscenes and the corny dialogue, but this corny dialogue was more or less written by some comedians because it is pretty funny to watch the banter between them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Even in the beginning, it starts off like that.
yeah. That's
Yes.
that one scene. That one scene when what was it? Where he was asking the dude to punch him in the brain. That dude
Right.
keeps spitting out my food. Yo. I was
Yeah.
like, yo,
It's a funny game, man.
Yeah.
It is. It is
And you know
very
what's
good.
crazy? At E3 2019, it didn't have none of that.
Yeah, they didn't.
Well,
They
it was
didn't have
just,
none of
but it
that.
basically was just a demo. You can only play it
No,
for so
it was,
long.
but
Yeah, but
it didn't show. It didn't show you what it ended up. It didn't even come close to what they showed.
But you know what? But
Yeah,
you know
what are you
what it
got a
talking
is.
super chat,
about?
too.
That the
All right, go ahead,
gameplay
Jason.
that they showed
Bloody
off
just
at
popped in. Wow, welcome.
Yeah, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Sir X Man in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. He says once again, this is for my homies on GRG. Let's go. Thank you, Sir X
Oh,
Man.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it, bro. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we
And
started.
and
Let's go.
and I Tarzan on Twitch. Yes, sir. Yes, Scott Pilgrim was a dope ass game.
Yeah,
Yes,
Scott
yes.
Pilgrim was a sleeper hit.
Hell yeah. Oh
That
my
was
God, love
you
Yo,
know what?
that
was
And
hilarious.
I wasn't even into those type of. I always had a problem with games that reverted back to the
to the
old
pixelated.
NES. Yeah, because I played enough of that stuff. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
listen, King
I played
Mega.
enough of
You
that. I
must
was
not
like,
be
but
a
that,
softball player. You
but
must not be a softball player.
a South Park? Oh no. I no. I got them, but I
No,
haven't even started.
no. You need to play South Park, bro.
I got the first one. I don't have the second one, but
Now you don't need the second one. Play the first one.
yeah, I
You're gonna
got
be
it,
in
but I
stitches.
haven't played it.
And you're
Though.
gonna be streaming it. It's crazy.
But no, I just
Don't
never
do that. Don't do that.
with that old
Right.
that old style of just just the old Nintendo NES style. I hated those graphics, and even I still cringe on some of them when I see them now. Like, damn, come on, can we get out of that? But I understand that some developers they just want to have that old school feel of
Nostalgia.
it, the nostalgia. But yeah,
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim was
But
one
it
of the first
works.
games that got me to love that. It just worked. But anyway, go ahead, PK. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I was just gonna wrap up and say, just like Scott Pilgrim or River City Girls,
Oh yeah.
it
Yeah.
it didn't
River City
launch.
nice.
It did not launch with online
Hmm.
co-op, but that didn't stop the game from being excellent as a standalone title. And I got Scott Pilgrim on PS3. I didn't get it on at 360. So hopefully now that the guy got his license together, he said he's going to bring it back, so it will no longer be delisted, and we can finally get our game back that we love.
Facts.
Um,
Hell
but
yeah.
overall, Battletoads is definitely a banger.
That game.
It is. It is. That
You
is the
gotta
start
get
of
vulgar.
a franchise.
Gotta get vulgar. It's effing awesome. Effing awesome.
Whoa. All right.
Effing.
It is.
It is.
I don't know when it turned to the Valley Guys podcast, but okay.
Yo.
Now I don't like cursing. So I don't like cursing. I don't like
I
cursing.
got you.
Hey,
I got
look.
you. I got you.
Hey, look, I just wanted to throw this out there. I don't understand the paper, rock, scissors thing, but it's funny as crap, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because you'll never win. Because you can't turn your hands into nothing. So
Right.
you'll never beat their paper, rock, scissors game. I'm just saying.
Right.
It's funny.
That's crazy. All right. Let me go to Livewire on this one. What did you think between and then I'll do the follow-up question with everybody, and you could just, it could be an open panel thing about the Game Pass games that's coming out. But just primarily on these two games, Livewire, did you play Flight? Well, I know I saw you streaming Flight Simulator, so I know you played that.
Oh, you streamed it, son?
Yeah. I posted it in the community.
Oh.
And also, guys, check out the community center here on the channel. It also, I try to promote the guys the best way that I can. So you can check out these guys, their streams and all of that stuff. You can just go to the community center. You can see Livewire actually where he was streaming. PK was playing Fall Guys, and then also his video content and his everything else. And when Lemon gets back to start doing his content and stuff like that, then you'll just check it all in the community center, in the community area. But yeah, Livewire, what did you think about both games, man? I mean, and actually, which out of the two, which one was your favorite?
Man, they do different things, so it's hard to say which one's
Mm-hmm.
my favorite. They're way different. Like what I'm looking for, one, it's like saying like what's your favorite thing to do, like to paint or to go skydiving. Like it's just very different activities. You know what I mean? But well, the first thing I played was Flight Sim.
Mm-hmm.
Flight Sim 1, I've never played a Flight Sim outside of the old flight sims that was basically it wasn't even like it wasn't even a plane at that point. It looked like like triangles and rectangles.
Yeah, facts.
Word.
That's all it looked like.
No
I
textures.
mean, yeah, and that junk, and I don't even think it was 15 frames per second. I think
Not
it was
even.
like I think it was like 4 or 5. Yeah, it was,
right.
it'd be like,
No lie.
tick,
No
tick,
exaggeration.
tick,
No
tick, like it
exaggeration.
was slow, man.
But
yeah,
advanced
so-
for its time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so going into Flight Sim, I was like, I got to try this out. It's on Game Pass. You know what I mean? I think it's the perfect thing to give to people, especially that aren't familiar. Give it to them on Game Pass because the enthusiasts already knew. They was in day once they saw it, day one. They didn't. It was like Microsoft here. They just threw a pile of money at Microsoft. Take that. I want that game. But for me, I don't know nothing about it, so I'm like, I got it on super easy. You know what I mean? Because I don't know nothing about flying. So, and even with that, it's still a challenge, even on super
Yes,
easy.
sir.
Because I
sir.
still got a controller. You still have to know the rules of flying. It just puts on a bunch of assists. So
You
you
can't
don't
say
have to
rules
go-
of flying. You can't say rules. You gotta say avionics.
All right, the avionics. But this is the thing. I know a lot of
What?
people. I got to explain to some of my Xbox heads and be like, why is it on console first? You have to understand.
You mean PC first?
I mean, no. It's why is it? No,
Oh,
why
why
they
isn't it
ask
on console
why
first?
isn't it
Okay,
on
yeah, go
console
ahead. I'm
first
sorry,
or
my
at the
bad.
same time?
Yeah.
You got to understand. I'm playing this with a controller and a keyboard because if I want to play at its highest level, and on console it has to be playable on its highest level, you cannot play it on the controller at this state. They don't have enough buttons, or they don't have the layout available to. And it's not something simple like, oh, just make this button and that button and that'll. Like, I don't think y'all understand the amount of like, bro. If you're gonna play it on its highest level, you have to know how to turn the plane on in the proper sequence. It's not just pressing start. That's not how this works. All right.
Nope, got to do the
Like,
checklist and all that.
don't get me wrong. On easy, sure. They could they have thrown it on Xbox on just super easy mode? Yeah, but then at the same time, then you would be denying the Xbox players the full functionality. Like somebody who doesn't want to play on mouse and keyboard, right? But wants to play the full game with its full functionalities on the highest level, just on controller. They should still have that option available to those people. And then you also got to realize that when it comes to Xbox, they have to also implement the the assist control, right? That's a lot of shit. And you can't like PC players already know what they're getting. As long as they get the ability to use all their flight equipment, and most of it's compatible, and mouse and keyboard along with controller. Because listen, you ain't playing flight sim with just the mouse and keyboard. That
And
shit
flight
ain't
sticks.
happening,
And
bro.
flight sticks.
No, yeah, flight sticks too. But I'm saying
Facts.
like, PC guys ain't out there playing with just mouse and keyboard. That's
Right.
not happening. You gonna be flying like a fucking. This shit gonna be bad. Like with a mouse? Oh no.
Yeah, you done.
Yeah, not with a mouse. No. A controller, you'd be okay. Okay, a flight stick would be better, but not with a mouse. No, the mouse is the best functionality for the mouse is just flicking on the switches that you need to do in proper sequence in order to get your plane started. But I think one of the biggest misconceptions about the game, people be like, oh well, this is boring. You could just you just go fly. Once you get up in the air, you just fly to wherever you go and then you just land. That's not how this works. Unless you put it on autopilot. Unless you're playing on autopilot, that's the only way you're gonna be able to get away with that. Because if you're playing a flight simulator and it's not on autopilot, no, you need to fly. Otherwise, your plane will be in the ground. Because I had when I was first starting it off, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I came back, my freaking plane was in the bushes. Like literally, I was like, yo, I was like 5,000 feet in the air, and now I'm in the bushes. What the hell happened? Because you can't just leave, man. It's super serious, yo.
Oh yeah, you
But,
try. So you was like, man, I gotta go do something,
yo,
and
because
it like, no, you
what I
gotta
did was
maintain your
I leveled
controls.
it off, and I was like, I'm gonna go get some out the microwave I made, so I'll be back in. Ain't gonna take that long. I came back, it was a wrap. Plane was in the bushes. Now they don't have explosions and all that stuff because they ain't trying to make this no Taliban
Right.
simulator. You know what I mean? So that's to be understood. Anybody who's like, well, don't got explosions, they not gonna do that, yo. Boeing's not gonna sign off you blowing up their planes in a simulator. They're not gonna do that.
Mm-mm.
And if you think they are, you are sadly mistaken, and you need to be checked in mentally because something wrong with you, bro. But that game Flight Simulator, it's the truth. You know what I mean? For people that are willing to give it a try and have the capable PC in order to to actually fly, and I do it relatively well enough. I got a 2080, so it's good, but it's not perfect. I mean, even on the 2080 Ti, it's not. Right now, I don't know if they have a PC unless you are like Mr. Super PC and you know how to make your PC.
They don't have a PC. They don't have a PC.
Like right now, 4K 60 is like maxed out.
It's heavy CPU load, not really.
Yeah,
GPU
it
load.
is because
It's actually both. I feel, but yeah,
It's both. It's both.
Because this is where you get.
But it's also got to be optimized.
Yeah, this is where you get the slowdown. Slowdown is when the lower you get to the ground, and they got to start streaming in all them cities and landmarks. That's when things get. Now, obviously, when you considerably high up in the air, you can still identify things. It's okay. I'm talking about when they try to really bring in the detail.
Facts.
You know what I mean? When they got to actually bring those textures in, that's when it gets, it starts chugging. But for the most part, yeah, you good, man. The game is great. I don't know how it's going to look on the Series X, but I'm pretty sure it's going to look crazy. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, that's that Flight Sim is my thing. Now Battletoads.
Mm-hmm.
Battletoads is something else. Now I gotta say I was kind of with Lemon when I first seen Battletoads. I wasn't on some I ain't gonna play it type stuff. I just was like, I ain't really into it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's okay, right?
I think all of us on the panel was like that, actually.
Yeah,
No.
Like,
I'm a Battletoads dude. Let's not get it messed up.
Oh, I wasn't. I
played Battletoads on what was it, Super Nintendo?
Well, I mean, we've all played.
Yeah, I loved it.
Lemon, that's not what we're saying. What I'm saying with this game here, particularly,
it was not good.
Bloody was really bloody, and G
and Op.
And Op were the only three out of us that were like
optimistic.
Yeah, that was optimistic about it. All the rest of us was not. You know what I'm saying? It was like, no.
It was terrible.
No,
that's
See, the reason is because we was the only ones that actually played it. Y'all all
I didn't have to play it. I looked at
I
it.
was looking, we were looking at it. I'm like, I'm not standing in this line for 2 hours to play this game. Looking like this.
Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes.
Yeah.
What we saying is, we didn't say you wasn't right, but graphically, it didn't look like something we was interested in.
Because I mean, it was a demo from a year.
Well, okay, guys, let Livewire finish, please.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Livewire finish.
Go ahead.
I'll say this. This is the thing. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. It's another beat 'em up.
Look at it right now. Look.
I hang out with 100 and he.
Oh yeah, here's my gameplay right here. Enjoy.
Let's talk about it.
With 100 and Hebot, they play through I don't know how many beat 'em up. So you know what I mean? They play a lot. So I see a lot of these games. So I wasn't like all that enthused about it. I thought it
Neither was
okay.
100.
no, but I thought it was okay. But the thing that really sold me on it is how they presented it in its most recent trailer, because they gave you the whole package. Like they basically showed you exactly what it was. It's a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes,
thank you.
And that's the difference, because I never really understood, and I think that's what a lot of people were complaining about. They didn't get the art style. Even the people that are still complaining. I mean, granted, they gotta
be stupid. They complaining now.
They standing on their square and they saying that, well, why don't it look like Ratchet and Clank? But to be honest, I and you know why? If you look at it,
different art style.
What did Six just say earlier? He said this could be not Six, PK. He said this could be a cartoon, right?
Yes.
You could sell this as a franchise. If you tried to make Battletoads look like Ratchet and Clank, it wouldn't have the same feel.
No, it's not the same
Exactly.
thing. Right.
It would
It takes
it would
away from
feel
what
it
it
would
is.
feel completely different. Now, no disrespect to Ratchet and Clank, but
Two
its
different
story
games.
is but Battletoads' story is better
Yeah.
than Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank, like this is what I tell people. I said it's a good game, but its story is dog shit because it's boring. And the reason why it's boring is because it takes real skill to write a story for kids that appeals to adults. And Ratchet and Clank, and where Insomniac shines is when you got the Sunset Overdrives, where they get freedom to kind of break that barrier and take their comedy to the next step, right? But when they're constrained by what Ratchet and Clank does, it's just not funny like that. It's okay, you know what I mean? But it's not as far as an adult really and being interested. Shoot, even kids, because look, kids ain't dumb. Kids watch the Boondocks. You know what I mean? This shit not funny. It's okay. The gameplay is what sells that game and the graphics, not the story. But the story for Battletoads is what makes everything else in the game make sense. You know what I mean? And then you go into the gameplay. The gameplay is, it's kind of it's a different take of a beat 'em up versus what we just played with Streets of Rage 4. Because Streets of Rage 4 is it's not as much combo heavy. It's more like melee. There's some combos and it's like super moves and and weapons. That's really their thing. Whereas Battletoads is more about combos and abilities and chaining those combos and abilities together. So, but man, with Battletoads, one is way harder than Streets of Rage 4. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
had some issues with Streets of Rage 4, but it ain't nothing like this, yo. And I will tell you this: most of it ain't even from the beat 'em up sections. It's from the mother sections. God damn, that
Yeah.
fucking that fucking space section had me wanting to pull my
Bro,
hair
that's
out,
where
bro.
I'm at right now, and I'm right there. Now I crack up every time that it starts because I'm right at the end while I'm fighting the dude, and that shit cracks me up every time he starts talking. But I'll get pissed off because I'm trapped
Oh
every
no, you
time.
ain't at the end. You at the middle. Can't make it fighting
Oh,
that dude.
oh, so you got to fight him? No, no, no. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about to beat that guy.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
at the end to beat that guy, but
yeah, that's what I'm at the end to
there's
beat
a
that guy.
whole
Yeah,
other flights. There's like 3 flight sections.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
by that
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's fine.
by the last one
Hmm.
that I played, I was like, yo,
Yeah, well, it's
I
gonna
swear
take.
to God, they give me. I swear to God, they give me another one of these Cuphead like
It's
sections. Yo,
it's not
yo, that's it.
it's way more than the 3 hours because I'm pretty sure I put already about a good
Oh
6
yeah,
in it
no,
already.
no. You can beat it
But
in
I'm
three
playing on the
hours if
hardest difficulty too, so yeah, it's
well,
not.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you're a master at it, yeah, 3 hours. Yeah, I can get it. Like you
no, I'm
don't
playing it
die,
on
you
the
just go
easiest
straight
level.
through.
That's what it is.
Oh yeah, well shoot, yeah. If you're playing it on that, like there ain't no real challenge. The only thing that's challenging is the maybe some of the I don't know how the puzzles scale. Because bro, there's one thing you got to do with the doggone the ship. Like the ship is malfunctioning, you got to fix it. And I played it on Toad. I'm playing it again on
Battletoad.
Battletoad. But I
Hmm.
played it on Toad, and it's like this section where you got to like figure how to restart the ship,
Hmm.
and that shit is frustrating because they really don't tell you. You gotta go through a trial and error, like trying to figure out how to get this thing to work. And sometimes you be like, yo, like they'll give you a puzzle and then switch it up to a different puzzle. They switch it up to a different puzzle, and you be like, yo, fuck this shit. I hate this damn puzzle. I keep on fucking this shit up. Like that shit does wear on your patience a little bit, man. But I got through that bitch in like 6 hours. So
It's challenging
Nice.
though.
It is very
oh no,
challenging.
it's challenging for sure.
And
It's
and what
challenging
I
for
wanted to
sure.
say before I get up out of here,
All right, man.
I did call Bloody when we watched the trailer. Right? I told Bloody, I said, listen, this is not what we saw at E3. This is way beyond that work. And it's excellent game, man. And I think everybody should get a chance. If you like beat 'em ups, you should try it.
All right.
It's awesome. It's fun.
Let me get on down and let's get on to let me go to Slayer. What was your thoughts about it, man? Did you get a chance to play either one of these games, man? What was your thoughts about it?
Okay. like I said earlier about Flight Simulator, I'm still setting up for that. I finally get my VR situation worked out, so I don't have to keep swapping cables. So, in fact, I paused the download for the show. So, soon after this game is ready to go, I'm gonna hop in there and try it. You know, from the VR experience off bat. You know, I just got the new video card, got the VR headset. I'm going in balls deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for this.
You moving to a 380, ain't you? 3080? Moving to a 3080?
Well, I will be pretty soon, very soon. But this attempt 2070 Super, you know, in anticipation for this game and a few other things like the Crisis remaster. So
no, don't do that.
Yeah, Epic done.
No,
anyway,
don't do that.
That's different conversations. That's
right.
Yeah, we digress. So, but you know, I too have a history with aviation. You know, I went to aviation high school, okay, in Queens. You know, I trained in airframe and power plant in New York and Queens. You know, worked at American Airlines. I did this, not the flying aspect, but the mechanical aspect. Okay, you know, I made sure these planes could fly in the air and come back down, you know, safely. Okay, I had to sign my name to repairs and whatever work done, because you can't park up in the air if you got a problem. So, I'm well versed in the realm of aviation. And I can tell you, you know, what you probably already know, that you know, Flight Simulator is a title that's been around for a very long time. It's earned a reputation on the PC because it always took high-end hardware to get the best experience to do all it was trying to express, you know. And for it to come to console upcoming is a big deal. So a lot of people who's upset about the Xbox version out yet, you know, slow your roll. This is a rollout. This is not your typical release. Now you might sound like say, oh, that sounds like an excuse. 10% maybe. No fronting, but that's what it is, man. So I can't really speak on it, but I've done my homework and I'm expecting great things and soon to find out about that. But as for Battletoads, yo, shout out to the PlayStation community for keeping this game in the zeitgeist, in the mind, because this was the type of game that you would have heard the announcement of the release at E3 or whatever, right? You might have seen a quick clip, nothing too serious because it's real early in development. But yo, you guys went and saw it over at in E3 last year in 2019, and so you weren't too impressed. But you know, that's the type of thing where I probably wouldn't even have watched any of the coverage of the demo. Just, you know, just you know, notice that it was in a, you know, montage trailer probably during the Xbox showcase, you know, at E3, and be like, yo, hey, okay, this is coming out, you know, and then, you know, forget about it, you know. But thanks to the PlayStation community, thinking that they had another one to clown on or whatever, you know, they're always looking for something to complain about, even if no problem exists, keeping this in the zeitgeist. And even IGN gave this game an 8. There's no more I gotta really say on this, on Battletoads. The game is awesome. Saturday morning cartoon fun. Yo, I always talk about Xbox Live Arcade games and how I missed that whole genre. You know, a lot of people say it's indies now. It's not exactly the same thing, although that was under that same umbrella. But this, man, this brings that feeling back. Oh, and one more thing, shout out to even Chris Hart, who's, you know, he's wanting to try out the Flight Simulator in VR. Yay, man, even he had, you know, something positive to say there about it. You know, I think that says enough about that subject. But yeah, that's what I have to say on both.
All right, cool. All right, Bloody, what was your take? I mean, I think we already going to know about Battletoads, but did you get a chance to try to dip your toe into some Flight Simulator at all? No, that's crazy. Because I'm listening to that keyboard tap the whole damn time, and then he walks away at the last second. All right. I know, right? All right. Okay, so all right. So let me ask this question, and anybody can jump in and answer this question. Well, let me kind of brought his up because I asked him that. But what about you? What about everybody else? About the games on Game Pass? You got Tell Me Why. You have Wasteland that's coming. You have new Super Lucky's Tale. You have other games that's also available too. If anybody hasn't got a chance to play Darkstalkers Genesis, I highly recommend it. That is
awesome,
a dope.
especially if you're a fan.
I played that. I'm really not the biggest Darkstalker fan, but
you
I
beat all three of them.
Darksiders. Say it right if you're gonna say
Darksiders.
Darksiders.
Keep saying Darkstalkers. That's Capcom.
Because Darkstalkers is on my mind. That's what I really want.
And it needs a 3D remake.
It needs a 2D, 3D remake.
Yeah, 2.5D.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, dog, whatever. See, that's what tells you right there. I like the series, but it's not like it's been my crazy. But there's something about over the top games. I really enjoy those, especially just me love playing RTSs. But Genesis is just really it's polished. It feels well, and I also like the latest brother. He's funny. He cracks me up. But yeah, that game is available too. So anybody out here on the panel, what do you guys think about that, man? I mean, what's going on with any of these titles? Any of these titles that's got your attention?
Hell yeah! I was gonna say the newest,
Oh, you're back. You're back. I was hearing that keyboard the whole. No, you weren't, because I hit you up. No, you weren't.
Oh, probably because I was, but I would probably have my mic muted because of the fact that I was typing and I didn't want to keep it clacking in everyone's ears.
Oh, you was doing it the whole damn time. I thought you wasn't gonna stop.
Oh no, I was here. When I was listening.
Twitter fingers at work. Can't make it stop.
I thought you were just ignoring me when I was talking about Flight Sim because I was saying how I didn't have a strong enough keyboard or strong enough.
Oh, so you was muted. Okay, so so we can hear you.
Wrong words.
I was saying my computer just isn't strong enough. That's the only reason I haven't played Flight Sim.
Okay, I got
because
you. Okay.
I mean, it's in the works, but the keyboard about it, right, is I just got a good keyboard. Okay. It's like the computer itself can't handle it. But I've seen enough on Flight Sim. I played Flights, like one of the older versions of Flight Sim. I think it was like 2006, back when I was in school, because I did a computer class, and one of the things that they were teaching us was different peripherals and different uses for PC. And one of the things that we had to test was we had to test flight sticks and stuff like that. And we actually used Flight Sim to test a lot of that for my engineering class. And it was a lot of fun.
I got to cut you off for a second. If people are wondering what the hell just happened here, see, this is what you can't do with a PlayStation 4 controller. Because once that controller goes out, it's done, Jack, unless you got another one, which I don't. I only got one PlayStation 4 controller.
Or you got to plug it in.
Yeah, but you just got to plug it in. Here, with the Xbox, I was like, oh, my battery went dead. I have two alternatives. I could go get my other rechargeable battery, or I could pull out the powerful Duracells and get back to gaming. All right, go ahead, Bloody.
Right back in. Also, everyone's calling you out about calling Darksiders Darkstalkers. Much different. Very different.
I got you. I got you.
But Flight Sim, the new flight simulator, because you got to think there hasn't been a flight simulator game in quite some time. At least not a Microsoft Flight Sim, right? And what they have done with this one, just kind of seeing all of what they put into it, it is beyond amazing what is done. It's graphically stunning. What the amount of different style planes and everything that you can get into is absolutely phenomenal. And how great the details they have been recreating the entirety of the world. Like, so many people have been streaming it, have been they're like, hey, you know how there's like a 16-hour flight from the US all the way to layover off in Spain to go to England or whatever? They're like, yeah, we're gonna do the full 16-hour flight all the way through. I'm just like, y'all guys are really taking this to like the exact max of recreating everything. Like
Bloody. They doing air traffic control.
Oh yeah, no, that's always been a thing. Like there's a YouTuber who I know who puts out videos where he plays like actual, like they have a dedicated server of people who are actually like recreating what it means to fly a plane. Like there's people in the air traffic tower who are doing this, like using the same talk, guiding everyone in and all that kind of stuff. Like there is a hardcore dedicated, like simulated community for these kinds of games. Same as with truck simulator, same as with train simulator. Right. There is very, very hardcore communities dedicated to these kinds of things. And the fact that people want to downplay that sometimes is just, no, you don't realize the kind of backing that these communities really put into these
console
kinds of stuff.
People don't know nothing about this game.
Yeah, it's always been a PC thing. It's always been a PC thing. That it has. That is without a doubt. Most simulator games, nothing but PC. This is the first time.
People didn't know about Rainbow Six either. Let's talk about that.
Bloody, how many times did we hear people say on a podcast, who asked for this game.
Right.
Yep. All the time. And it's just
The
like, guess
circle
what?
is small.
Yep, it is small. Guess what?
Right.
Console may not have asked for it, but guess what? PC has been asking for it for a long time. And that's the thing about it, is that we're starting to get into the era of, guess what? A lot of stuff that was PC only now being able to be handled on a console. People don't get that.
I give you a little history, buddy. Just
Go
a
ahead.
little bit. What Call of Duty started?
What Call of Duty started?
Yeah.
What on
PC?
On PC, yeah.
Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon was on PC, yeah.
Flight Simulator.
PC.
Okay.
I knew Battlefield started on PC. I didn't know COD.
Battlefield also.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, King. That's another. I was getting ready to go down the line.
Yeah. Battlefield.
Those are PC games that transferred over into the console realm. So before people get to knock a situation,
Medal of Honor, all those.
Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor. And he brought up a big point.
All these RTSs. Where do you think they started at? Command and Conquer on 360 and Xbox OG. Where do you think those games started from?
Well, they came on the PlayStation 2 also.
No. But where did they start?
They started on PC.
They started on PC.
Like you mentioned with,
it's a gaming situation. It's never a PC versus console. Now, like they're adopting games. We got Madden, FIFA, 2K. Okay, so
the gap is bridging. Yeah, the bridging the gap now. It's not. You're right. That's the perfect way to put that limit. That there was never any competition between the PC and the consoles, and it's not because they both had their own different types of games. But
demographics.
Like you said, but now the gap is the bridging
Closer.
the gap now, and everything. And consoles are now finally at the point to where they can start playing these type of PC games, and
the hardware is at that point.
Yeah, the hardware is finally now.
And on
at
the
that point
philosophical
now.
level,
Right.
like you were saying before, the PC gamers really never cared. All these folks who saying PC master race, those are just the new jacks who's coming on in the age of social media who done missed out on a meme. It was a joke against PC dudes who didn't care, who were so snobbish and didn't know anything about consoles at all, but didn't care to hear you talk about it because they were too PC to care.
And let me explain for those people in the chat. First of all,
look at this tech and footage.
We got facts. We got 56 people in here. We need more likes. But let me say this for the record, man. For these PC master race people, right? PC master race never meant power. PC master race means whatever rig I build, everything comes with me.
Choice. Yep.
That's what it means. Yep. It doesn't mean 2080 Ti graphic PC, 1,000 gigabytes of RAM and the i9 5000. Doesn't mean that. It means everything I've purchased and built comes along with me every generation. Every game, every main, every arcade title. That's what PC Master Race means. It doesn't mean graphical powerhouse. Never meant that. Just for the record.
All right, go ahead, Bloody. Go ahead and finish up, man.
No, but he brings up a lot of good points. Is the fact that people who complained about this game now being able to come out on the Series X, because remember it's a staggered launch until it's ready, and Stick kind of brings up part of it, maybe 10% of it was the fact that they're delaying it until it's absolutely optimized for the console, but it is still something that they were planning for, as well as just kind of vision wise. Is that it was a very big PC title that people have been wanting. I mean, if people weren't wanting these PC style, games, why would we have something like Halo Wars? It's an RTS light game. I was about to say, you look at the big names in RTSs. You have XCOM, StarCraft, Command and Conquer. StarCraft is the other biggest one. Like you look at a lot of those games. Those are Legends. Well, League of Legends is a Dota. It's not really an RTS.
Yeah, Dota. It's kind of like a mix, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's a MOBA. Yeah, but I mean, if you want to look at MOBAs, I was like, that's why we kind of have Smite. But like full like dedicated like crazy MOBAs like Dota.
Courses, AOE.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Bless Unleashed. Those games was not coming to console like that.
Yeah. Also, Black Desert. I'm sorry, Bloody. Yeah, we're interrupting the hell out of you. Go ahead.
No. But we add into his point.
We are,
He's
agreeing. We're still interrupting. Go ahead, man. Because this is what prolongs the topic for 3 hours. Go ahead, man.
But you look at a lot of that, and and Flight Simulator is just one of those things that kind of is really demonstrating, hey, look, this is a game kind of like how Crysis was. That was a benchmark of, hey, you need a very strong, powerful PC to be able to play anything similar to this. And guess what? Now it's coming out on a console that is an absolute powerhouse that can run it. I was like, that's a good thing because it allows more people to be able to see why there's such a big community behind this game. That's what it is. As for Battletoads, you guys know, I was excited for Battletoads. I like beat 'em ups, but the thing is, I actually played the game at E3 last year because I thought it was going to be cool because of the fact that I knew the original and played a little bit of it when I was younger. I haven't gone back and replayed it since then, but I knew how hard it was back then. And I was just like, well, I don't like this when you're an 8-year-old and kept getting your ass kicked. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But when I played it, I was like, yo, this is actually fun because, sitting there with the demonstration team, they're like, a lot of the people who've been out here playing this game have had trouble doing the combos and stuff like that. I was like, oh, really? Because they're like the highest combo that anyone achieved was like, they were saying like C when they were trying it out there. Me and Dragon, my roommate who was out there with us, shout out to him. We were playing the baby dragon.
Yeah, baby dragon.
So we were out there playing that. And me and him, just the two of us, because we didn't have a third person with us and no one filled in. Me and him pulled off an S-rank combo in no time. And they're like, you realize that everyone's had trouble with that. I was like, oh, well, we're just used to beat 'em ups. And the gameplay that is in the game now that it's in full launch was the same style that we had right there. It's just the graphics were updated. But I'm saying, you're looking at the game I wasn't looking at the game for its graphics when it's still at a year and a half out, I was looking at, okay, is this gameplay going to be something I'm interested in? And we had a lot of fun doing the tunnel run because the fact that we're sitting there like trying to be as like precise as it was and just like, oh, I died. It's like, hey, look, the checkpoint's right there. We're just so close. Someone just needs to make it and that kind of stuff. So seeing how it does what Nier did, right? Is that it takes a much.
When I said that. See,
it took a whole bunch of different genres and put it into one game, and it works. You look at Nier, right? You have the action RPG, you have the hack and slash, then you have the top down, shoot 'em up, bullet hell kind of aspect, and then you have it turned into where it turns to an on rail shooter. Especially look at Nier Automata, right? You have the flying segments and the way that you have to fight that. Then you have like so many different aspects of it that feed into that game. That's what Battletoads, this remake, has absolutely done. And then, as everyone mentioned out, the art style was cleaned up. They took that hand-drawn animation style that you would see, like that Saturday morning cartoon feel, and they really perfected it. It's what made Cuphead stand out. All hand-drawn animations, very unique to its art style.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah, it is hard to do. In an age of all digital animation, these guys went out and did hand-drawn animations and completely edited everything. So everything you're seeing on screen, all hand-drawn except for the obvious, certain visual effects that they had to do. But for the most part, a lot of that was all done hand-drawn. That's hard to do. And the fact that they captured what made old 90s and early 2000s cartoons stand out was because of the fact that they had that childlike humor, but they had it to where it was suggestive enough that an adult will be like, oh, they really said that, didn't they? I mean, if anyone here has ever watched the Animaniacs, there's literally one scene that everyone quotes.
Oh my God.
When they were looking for Prince, and you see that one of them says, hey, look, I found Prince. And they said, no, fingerprints. And she's like, oh, I'm not doing that, and throws Prince out the window. Oh. And they're just like, oh, they're like,
low key, man, always.
Yeah.
Low key.
I was like, that's the kind of humor that is encapsulated in Battletoads. And I only played what I did at E3. I actually going to be streaming it later tonight with my girlfriend because she wanted to play it. So we're going to be doing.
You got a girlfriend? When did that happen?
Man, y'all shut the hell up.
Did you buy her lace black thong?
I mean, but hold on, hold on. I mean, does she dress like you? I mean,
what's going
on? Like, yeah, man,
come out right.
Yeah, I know. Like Lemon,
that's my little brother. You know I don't mean no harm. That's my guy.
I know, but I mean, does she dress like you, or is she completely opposite? What's going on, man? What is it? Like, what is it?
Unlike y'all, I saw her on a video.
I mean, I was like, she's been on stream with me multiple times. I don't know.
Multiple.
Okay, okay. I didn't know that was your girl though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both look
me
like they
neither. Yeah,
sacrificing
didn't realize.
Oh,
cats.
okay. Well, that
But-
okay.
In the
Yeah,
name of
right.
Satan.
I mean, no. So yeah, no. She got Satan rings too. That's all I needed to know. All right, go ahead. Finish up so we get to the next topic, man. Go ahead.
But the thing is, like, with as much as I've seen of the game, I'm just like, oh man, they definitely cleaned up everything I saw, and I was like, and I've been excited for it because of the fact that I love a good beat 'em up. Y'all know I always talk about fun beat 'em ups and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I was like, so.
I mean, because you love Yakuza,
Yeah.
and that's a beat 'em up. So.
Oh, absolutely. That's a modern day 3D beat 'em up. I was like, so these two old school 2Ds are what I like. I was like, we played Streets of 4 and we beat that like 2 weeks ago together. And that was a lot of fun. I'm just like, yo, I can't wait for Battletoads because Battletoads is a classic. And kind of hearing what Six said, that it's a sequel because it takes place 26 years after the original. That's kind of what some newer reboots are doing. It's just like, hey, guess what? It's its own PK did, right? It's its
PK
own
and Live
reboot.
said that.
Yeah, it's its own reboot, but it's also still giving a sequel. Look at the Doom remakes, right? It's its own completely overhauled original story, but it still ties in and has some semblances of being tied to the same original that we saw back in the late 90s when the original came out.
Facts. Now, before I go, let me say this.
Yeah.
Bloody would tell you. I told you before he was here. When I saw the trailer, I called Bloody first. I said, this is not the game that was at E3. This is definitely interesting and all the aspects that we talked about. But with that being said, your boy Lemon is out. Got to go to this barbecue. But we need more likes in this chat, man. We got 61 people in here watching. You can put dislikes. No matter. It's activity. 28 people. Let's get it popping, man. And shout out to all my... This Sir X-Men always throwing shots on the low. I'm not even reading you right now. You need a bigger super chat for me to get into that. But anyway.
Oh, wow.
But shout out to my brothers, man. Yo, K Mega. I tried to do the best I could. We did good on the topics. Topics is excellent.
All right, man. All right.
I'll see y'all later, man. I'll see y'all later.
All right, guys. Sir X Man in the chat. He says, Lemon, you ready for PGA Golf 21?
Are you ready for a wheelchair with flats?
Oh no!
Hey man, this is shout out to my man Sir X Man because tomorrow is his birthday. So
it is.
So on fight night.
Obama game.
Happy birthday.
So on fight night. Fight night is all of his games. The games he gets. This is like one of the rules that we set.
Wait. K-Mac, you're telling me that it's the old man's birthday?
Because Bot bought him a game.
Well, no, Bot bought him a game because he told him that he was going to buy him golf because they really like playing golf. But see,
I like playing golf too. Ain't nobody buying me nothing.
But hey, look, I don't know. You need to talk to them about it. I have no idea. But see now when I'm just now getting ready to get,
is a fraud.
I downloaded the other golf game. Now they're going to play this one. I'm not.
Yeah, they was moving on.
Yeah, they moved on. So I guess I'm out of it then. I guess I'm out of that loop. I mean, I don't know. But anyway,
all right, bro. I love all y'all, man. I gotta go. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.
Nice.
I'm gonna listen to the show. I'm gonna be in the chat, but I gotta go.
All right, cool.
All right.
Peace.
But also let's not forget. You know what I'm saying? Sir X-Man, he has his week, but next week it belongs to me. Next Tuesday is K Mega's birthday. So, yeah. So long as I make it there, I'm cool. I'll be a good solid 45. It'll be all right with me. I didn't even think I would get this far, so I'm proud of it.
45. Look at you, brother.
Colt 45. Anyway, all right. So, but happy birthday, Sir X-Man, man. Really appreciate the gesture, man, and the comment. And I hope you guys have a good time with that. Right. So, all right, let's get to this. Let's get to the next topic, man. Let's get straight to it. We're talking about prices now. There's been rumors, and we've been waiting, and we're trying to find out what the hell is going on. The companies is been stalling, which shows true competition because they know that the price is very important. Well, there was a certain YouTuber that popped out of nowhere that came up with this theory because of a giveaway, and then they came and they said that if you divide it by 200 from what the overall retail price of the giveaway was, it comes up to be around $600. Well, then it moves on further, and it kind of just shows how the gaming media themselves, and we're not talking about just the content creators, but the gaming journalists, how much they are entrenched into what content creators say. it's evident when we read in articles now. Now we're starting to see them put people's names out or their podcasts out there in the wild now because they didn't first want to give them recognition, but now there's so many people that listens to all different types of podcasts, they can call the media out and say, look, no, you got this information from this. So now they're starting to give give away people's names and things like that. But Alana Pierce, she came out and she had her own thought process behind it, saying that somebody at IGN, I mean not IGN, but at a GameStop was looking at something and it could have been a placeholder to where the Series X was going to be $599. So now I'm finna go straight to you on this one. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go to you, Slayer. Slayer, I'm gonna go to you first.
Okay.
What first off, giving the people the impression, especially if you go by what Phil Spencer has said, and not saying that everything that Phil Spencer has said has been completely accurate, especially when people have brought up the fact about the VR situation. We talked about the Halo. We've talked about that here last week and a couple of weeks before, or whatever. And there's other things. So it's not like the Phil Spencer has been right on everything that he said, or is not giving some kind of smoke and mirrors. Not saying that Phil is this snake salesman that some of the stands will like to make some people believe. But as a person that comes out and says all these people that Jim Ryan, before that Yoshida and Andrew House, all these other people that's been in power have said things that they may have regretted and may have came back to bite them. But when you hear something about, like Phil Spencer says, that we're trying to be competitive, now would you think that a $600 price tag for a console would be competitive, or would he be talking about something else, maybe the Series X or something like that? But what do you think about this whole price thing, man? Does it make sense?
I'm gonna answer those questions in order.
All right.
The first question about, I already forget exactly the word, but basically, is it competitive? Yes, that's the word. Is it competitive? It's competitive. Even $599 is competitive if Sony's is, say, $579, or $599 itself. That's competitive because that'll be the same price. That's competitive. If they're both $499, that's competitive. Whatever. I mean, it's not about the price. It's only if the price is similar or one is far below the other, at least by like one level on below or above. That's competitive. That's the back and forth. You get hit, you hit back. The competition that's going on between them. But as you say, you talk about what Phil has said. He wants to be competitive. It's the worst kept secret on this whole price issue that Microsoft is willing to undercut Sony. This is why Sony isn't going first, and Microsoft damn sure doesn't want to go first. And there's this whole cat and mouse game, and still we don't know the price. Still we don't know the price because of this. Exactly. Everyone knows Microsoft is willing to undercut Sony on this, and I feel where they get this money from. Not only did Phil talk to Satya and already earned enough cred that he's on the board when Panos Panay, the head of Windows, is not on the board. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's on the big man's table, on the round table, and has a position. And the head of Windows that all of Microsoft is built on isn't there. Okay, he already had earned that money and the right to spend that much if need be, but also he's also earned the right. Well, he doesn't even need that now because you have Game Pass. Okay, 10 million plus on Game Pass. You kidding me? And those are old numbers at the time we heard them, and it's been a while since we even heard that report. It's got to be far greater by now, like 15. I wouldn't be surprised to hear 15. I don't know what it is, but so and that's where they could afford that. So I don't know what the price is. I'm tired of debate. I don't even remember what my opinion was at the time, but I'm hoping $499. But last game was $399. I'm hoping it's $499. I don't want to see no higher than that, but it might. But don't be surprised if it's higher than that. You hear this every generation. This is expensive hardware, particularly this generation. This is expensive hardware. I feel not as a rip on Sony, but they seem to be doing the bare minimum in terms of the size of the drive. I feel all these little aspects I see here and there, I think they're trying to go in just under cost. This is why the GPU is clocking so high, basically, variable overclocking built in, because they're trying to stretch it as far as it can go. And we're hearing all these rumors about their cooling solution and whatnot. They're trying to stretch it as far as they can go for the dollar. We already know they're not on the level of what the Xbox Series X has, feature for feature, even not even performance-wise. The raw horsepower. The Xbox Series X has abilities above and beyond that, like variable rate shading to be efficient. When they talk about how the PlayStation is efficient, I don't see how that's efficient when the Xbox has these features and the PlayStation don't. It's not a rip on anything, just straight facts with the specs that we heard of hot chips. And I think we'll get into that later.
Right.
But that's where it is. That's where it is, I feel. And so
so you're right there at that point where it's basically you thinking $5.99, you thinking $4.99, not so much $5.99.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it was $3.99 before, and it's been for the past 2 generations. So 4 would be a uptick, but it could be higher than that. Don't be surprised at that. It could happen.
Okay.
It could happen. It's really looking tough.
All right, so let me go ahead and move on down and go to Bloody next. What? Oh, and let me give a big shout out to Sir X Man again in the chat. He says, "K Mega, I'm giving you golf next week, my friend, bro. That's very generous of you. I appreciate it. I ain't gonna never turn down a free game. I won't do that. So, but you don't have to, but I do appreciate it though, man. I thank you so much, man. Yeah, when I get things back in order, get back on my feet with some certain things, man, I'll definitely be back doing stuff on the Patreon. I got a lot of things planned to make big moves, not only for GRG but also for just to kickstart the Patreon, because it's still there. I just haven't done anything with it. Haven't had the resources to get it done just right now. But we're definitely gonna kick off, and it's gonna surprise quite a few people for what the stuff I'm finna offer. So anyway, other than that, remember, definitely appreciate that, man. All right, so Bloody, what is your thoughts, man? What do you think about this whole? I saw you made a post. I retweeted it, and I totally agreed with you. But what is your thoughts, man? I mean, do you think that the console is going to be $600 now? It is stated from the hot chips that chip is $500 by itself. So, what do you think, man? Overall,
it's a possibility, right? Let's be honest that as it's been mentioned, every generation, each of the consoles starting out has always been about $400 to $500. We saw it with the PS4 Pro. We saw it with the Xbox One X. We saw it at the start of the generation. We saw it at the start of the last generation. Especially the last generation, we saw that the PS4 or the PS3 was willing to go for $600. Microsoft had the 360 about $500, and at the start of this one, Xbox was $500 with the Kinect, and then PS4 sold it at $400. We've seen that the $400 to $500 range is the average. That's where it consistently stays. Which one's going to do which is always the big question, right? Now we're at a point where technology has grown advancedly, and we kind of saw the breakdown about and during that Hot Chips interview, we saw the talk about Moore's Law. And for those who don't know, that's talking about how as time goes on, we start to see a not as steep of a uptick in progression when it comes to technology and to make significant advancements. Now we're starting to see that technology and kind of how far it goes has slowed down. The cost of it has kind of stagnated but gone down because of the fact that they're not being able to make as big of a jump as you saw in the late 90s, early 2000s, where we were with Windows 98 to where we are less than 20 years later, and how desktops are no longer these big ass boxed CRTVs and these big cases that have nothing in it that can only run a 64 megabit floppy drive or a floppy disk, right? We're talking about a small little compact flash drive that can hold terabytes of information. 64 megabytes to terabytes in less than 2 decades. That kind of shows you how big technology has kind of grown. Now, for the price, it's going to be, I've been saying that they're going to aim for 500. That's always been the price. We've seen what Phil has talked about. That they had the backing of what Satya Nadella himself has said, that they can be a little bit more flexible with the pricing. So if they want to change it up, they can change it up to where they need to be, because they know that they're already encompassing, like every company does at the start of a generation. They don't make profits on consoles. They always sell consoles at a loss. It's how much they're going to do for that loss. But before, you got to think that they were betting on making money with software. And they still have that coming from their first-party studios. Here's the real thing, though, is that they've talked about how much more profitable they are with their services now, thanks to the success of, obviously, Xbox Live Gold. But now with Gold being a part of Game Pass, with the Game Pass Ultimate and everything that's involved, that they've talked about how much more they've made and how profitable that is. If you looked in the investors call, that as a services for the Xbox brand has brought in large amounts of revenue, that they're more understanding that with the fact that they're obviously R&Ding and very expensive, basically PC in a box that is in a closed system, right? They know that they're going to be focusing on what can they do to make this a very or a reasonable cost for the community that they're trying to reach out to, at the same time of being able to bring in more revenue through the other aspects of it. So they know that they're going to have the services, obviously, because of how much they've improved and built upon with Game Pass Ultimate. They already know that they're going to have software coming with everything that they've been showing off from their first-party studios and how much more people are looking at that, right? So they know that they have that coming. So they don't need to worry about it, because the fact that typically for most manufacturers, the first 2 years of console sales are all at the MSRP, which is the market suggested retail price that they have, which is the estimated value that they put that it should cost at their suggestion for retails to sell it as. So typically it's going to be about 500. I was like, of course, that doesn't change if a company decides to mark up to improve their own profit margins or anything, but that's typically what it is. That's what people fail to understand about economics. Now, the person who made this this video talking about all the prizes that are going to be given away with this contest, and then the cost of all the prizes, they didn't account for the fact that it's the console, the game, and then it was also I believe it was 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. You look at the individual costs of those, if we go based on the fact that Ultimate, $15 a month, 3 months, that's about $45. You look at Halo Infinite being a game, we know we have an idea that it's at $60 if it goes 60 right now. Yeah. So we know it's 60 right now, going based off what we have, compared to the possibility of it being 70, as there's already been talks about all that going for the future of gaming. But we're not going to go based on that. But you look at those two prices that we already know for a fact, that's $100. So if these are reaching up to about 600, then the console itself will be about 500. And no, they said that they took out certain aspects and then multiplied everything by the tax of the state of California.
Oh, plus they also said that if there was any left over, that they didn't owe the winners of the contest that extra money in the balance of the calculated 600. So, they have that leeway where they don't have to spend every dime down to the letter and still be fine in terms of their own rules.
And you got to think about when it comes to giveaways and things like this here, they don't typically most things that are given away, especially when it's between corporations and large amounts like this, that they aren't paying taxes. They aren't paying certain things like that because of the fact that they are buying it in bulk, as well as getting it at a already suggested discount. So there's certain aspects that they're not paying anyway. So what they're looking at it is from an individual cost, which may not be as representative of what it actually is, because the fact that what the company may have paid would be different than what everyone else would pay, if that makes sense. So when you look at a lot of different aspects, when you come into the economics understanding of it, that it's completely off. Is it possible that it'll be 600? Yes, because of the fact that we know the full breakdown of the parts that are in the console. But knowing what they've said in the past, knowing what they're achieving, knowing the past setup from everything that we've seen in previous generations, it's more than likely not going to be that. it probably would not. I was like, more than anything, we've seen that they're going to aim for a $500 price point without a doubt. And if they choose to undercut, they might push for 450. Who knows? They might surprise everyone by going all the way to 400. But we've been saying 500 is definitely going to be the best estimate of it. Potentially 450 if they're feeling a little ballsy, right? And that's where I think everyone has completely agreed that it may be. Both of these consoles are absolutely going to be around the 500 price range, and that is without a shadow of a doubt. Both the PS5 and the PlayStation or the Xbox Series X. Everyone can absolutely expect to pay 500 for roughly both.
Yeah, I think so. I kind of agree with that. PK, your turn, man. What do you think, man? I mean, is this more just crazy, just rumors, just to get things, just to have people talk about it so they could get clicks, or do you think that there's a possibility that if not both consoles, but especially just the Xbox, can definitely be $600 at launch?
I don't think Microsoft will ever put out a system that's $600. Um, I'm not even sure if it's going to be 500. Honestly, I mean, there's a reason why they invested
They got a
into.
$500 chip. That's not including all the rest of the components. And I'm just bringing that up. I mean, that is some serious ass undercutting if they decide to go below $500 when they have with all the technology that they have within that box. But go ahead.
You also have to consider that they helped develop that chip,
Okay.
and they also helped develop the hardware, so that cuts half of their cost because they don't have to pay anyone to do it for them since they helped develop that. That is what AMD championed on their stage. That they partnered up to create this brand new, um, you know, hardware or GPU on a die, or APU to something they never done before. So, and don't get me wrong, AMD is going to take that and possibly use that for the TV deal that they got with Samsung. That same technology.
Yep.
So it's definitely a benefit on both sides.
Mm.
So it cuts the cost for Microsoft systems to be made because in-house development cuts your costs. You don't have to pay for the mats or materials. That's what that's short for, or materials or manpower, because your part of your R&D helped do that, and then part of your warehouses is help put the hardware together, the chips. So regardless of what it costs, they're not paying that. They're not paying. No, Microsoft will never pay what we pay for graphics cards, et cetera, et cetera. Period. And then they get even better discounts because they help develop it. It's a big difference. But people make videos for clicks, and they're going to continue to do that. As long as there is no official announcements, they're going to continue to do this thing, and that's fine. Um, at the end of the day, we got all but confirmed Xbox Series S, right? All but confirmed. We know it exists. We just don't have a confirmation from Microsoft, but we know, from all the leaks that it exists. Do we know what that price is going to be? No. We do know that it will still be able to play the same games. Now, how can they do? And I'm asking you, K Mega, how can they do a cheaper console and still play the same games if it's less powerful?
It's not. They can't.
I, they can, and your buddy Don said it's scalable. So what they do is they just draw back on, instead of shooting for 4K 60, they shoot for 1080 60, right?
Hmm.
That's what PCs
Maybe
do.
1440. If
That's
there's
that's
that.
it. It's the same thing what PCs do, right? You can still have a 980 Ti and still run the games today. It just won't be able to.
I heard you wrong. I was over here typing. I was over
Hey,
here
hey,
typing because there was a lot of there was a lot of shenanigans going on, and so I thought you were saying something
hey.
else. Oh, what's
Oh,
going on
so
with
what
your?
I was saying was not
Hang on,
important.
guys.
It
guys,
No, no, no,
guys,
no, no, no,
guys.
no, 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 no. I was listening to what you were saying, but there was a lot of shenanigans in the
Group chat.
chats.
Hey,
In the group chat. Speaking of group chat, man, the friendly neighborhood Blue Shell, man, thank you so much for stopping by, man. He says for K Mega playing Bug Snacks day one. He says I missed most of the podcast, but I want to provide support. I highly doubt my console will be 600. Will be 600. Well, any console will be 600. Don't learn from the 600. Don't learn from the $600 rumors with the Xbox One X. Or I'm sure I'm sure he meant the Series X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I also say something real quick to add on
No,
to that?
same thing happened with the One X. I think he might mean the One X.
Are you talking about?
but
Because there were rumors about the. Yeah, there were rumors about the One X was being
but
$600. You're right. You're right. You're right. Sorry about that.
To kind of
Michelle.
add something
Thank
real
you so
quick
much.
is that here's the thing. They won't go 600. You look at this, especially with the state of the world as it is, 600 is going to be hard to push. They also know that going 600 is not going to be a good PR move. They want the best PR that they absolutely can. They're not going to push for 600. They're not going to do it. We saw how it affected the PS3. We saw what happened when they tried to press the Xbox One with the Connect bundle and how that was more expensive. They're obviously going to go with something that's either more standard or more going to be more in line with what everyone would want to see from them. That would absolutely be seen as a good thing. They're not going to make a mistake by making something overly expensive, like putting it at $600.
And also, let me go ahead before let PK so he can finish his point. I do want to read this from Jazzy Noob, and also from Mr. Kima. Jazzy Noob over there on Twitter on Twitch. He says the based on the wafer calculator, it would actually be cheaper, maybe cost them $100 to $150.
Well,
So
Digital Foundry is saying differently because the calculation is based on the fact that the chip is slightly smaller than the one in the One X.
right.
But the materials cost and the technology is actually more expensive.
Right.
So the chip is
And
actually
then
more
also,
expensive.
Mr. Kima says Microsoft does have their own silicone plants to keep the costs down. Also, so go ahead, PK. Go ahead and finish your point, man.
So
I'm sorry.
that's kind of what I was getting at. Is they obviously planned for this for years. This is not something they just they're gonna think of a price today or tomorrow. No, they planned for this.
I think that the One X was also part of that plan, that experience that they gained from it.
Well, but also that Phil Spencer knew what kind of Xbox he wanted, right? And the Xbox One X was like a prelude to what the direction he wants to go.
Exactly.
And my point is, they were planning this all along. This is nothing that they're just coming up with. You guys got to realize that they're not in the same situation as Sony, because Sony has to pay for every part. They didn't develop anything. They're paying for everything, all the material, all the parts, everything they have to buy separately.
Well, there's the thing, real quick, PK, is that Sony did help with it, but the only thing that they did was I believe they said they worked on it in collaboration, but they didn't co-engineer like Microsoft did. They didn't work together between engineers from both companies.
That's what I'm saying. So they did not co-develop anything. They may have worked with them to help design a closed cabinet for whatever design machine they got going on, but they did not help make their chip. Their chip is basically a custom one that AMD put up for them. And that was in the notes on GitHub, right? That was part of the notes that was up on GitHub at the time. I'm not arguing with you, Bloody.
I know you weren't. I just wanted to make sure that people understood is that PlayStation collaborated with them for it, they didn't co-engineer it. They can collaborate they can co-develop, but co-engineering is something different. That means you having engineers from both design everything, knowing exactly. But when you
Yes.
just collaborate, you're like, hey, look, this is what we want. Y'all kind of achieve it.
Yes. Yes. So they gave them an idea what they wanted for their custom chip, but they did not. They have to pay for that still, 100%. Versus Microsoft, the parts in their machine, they help make that. Plus, they making it right, so
And
they
they
keep
own
the
the
cost
design, just
down.
like they did of the design of the 360. They own it, and if they find somebody else who could build it better for cheap, it's their rights. All the IP is theirs now.
Yeah. So I all I'm saying is this price thing is nothing but clickbait. It is. I would say people need to relax, stop jumping on. It's same. It's like we've been dealing with these rumors all year. Let's be real. We went from the PS5 being 15 teraflops and all this jazz until they found out it was less powerful. And then they say, well, it's about the SSD. It makes your machine more powerful. And then you got all we
You
just
hear him
keep
talking about the
going
SSDs
over.
anymore, PK?
All I'm saying is let's let's let this go. I don't know about the PlayStation side if that will be 600 or not. I have no idea. I just know that they are having a tough time pricing because it costs $450 to make their console. And I don't know if they're going to price it at 450 or 500, but I just know daggone well that it costs that much just to make it, let alone anything else, shipping, marketing, et cetera, all that other stuff, extra stuff. You have no idea. So, but overall, I believe it will be cheaper on the Microsoft end because they don't have to pay for all those mats, and that is the plus. So I see it being at 500 at the most and 400 at the least, and I'm guessing 400 just because it is a shock value, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. There, for both consoles, for them being 400, and I'm talking about their standard with the disc, not the discless PlayStation 5, because I think that is going to be around 400. But I'm talking about their standard new console, fully equipped console. I think if they're 400, if both of them, that would be substantial and crazy. And one other fact, and before I get to Livewire, so he can finish up on this topic, is let's not forget one console is going to have a mid-gen refresh. The other one has already stated that they're not going to have one. So you can also put price into that. You could also have price as a factor as well. So one is thinking for the future by saying, look, we've made it powerful enough to where we don't even need to make a mid gen refresh and keep that standard, while the other one is going to go with the other with a PlayStation 5 Pro to be on the same tier as the Xbox Series X, or just below it, so people won't make those comparisons for the next at least 3 years. So, Livewire, what is your thoughts about this overall, man? I mean, do you believe in this $600 price for the Series X, or you just think it's just clickbait like everybody else has been saying so far? He got his mic muted, so he had to probably step away. All right, so all right, well, since that was already done, I've already made my point on it. I don't think it's going to be $600 either. To me, that doesn't scream, especially when Phil has said himself that he is not, that he wants to be competitive. And then on top of that, how would that look? You've had people wait until damn near September, till late August, September, to give out a price that a console that's going to be coming out in a couple of months, and it would be $600. That's a lot of money to accumulate if somebody isn't prepared to have that money um, at their
That's a
disposal.
game over right there.
That
Gamers
that
might just
yeah,
rebel and give up and don't and not care for a long time
right, like
and
that's
hurt it off bat.
right,
That's
like that.
impossible.
Yeah, I mean, and if you do and I've talked about this before, if you do a $600 console, then the Series X is damn sure got to be for the first time like $300 to $400 less, cheaper. Then you'll definitely have the the proper affordable console for for the gamer who just isn't going to pay $600 for a console. And then you do have the actual premium console with the Series X. But then again, why would you wait so damn long to give out that price? I mean, because even when like when PlayStation drops their price for however much it's going to be, if it's $400, I don't think anybody's going to complain. If it's $500, there will be PlayStation fans that will complain. There's PlayStation fans in this chat right now. If you there, and I know that a lot of them will start capping and saying, "Ah, man, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing." You're lying to yourself, because I'm not saying for you that says that you're going to have the money to be ready to get it or you got it already saved, because there's people that's already do. But for the majority of people, especially the casuals, you waited this long to drop a console and it's going to be $500. It's still going to get that same look like the X1 did when its launch happened. When people look at it and said, "Whoa, $500 is steep." That's why everybody jumped on the PlayStation 4, because of that $100 price tag. So for them to wait so long, the best thing for them to do is Xbox is to match PlayStation's price if it's going to be $500, or try to undercut it like Bloody and Slick and PK have said. That's the best way to do it. And I was trying to wait for Live to come in and say his point, but I guess he's very very preoccupied. So all right, but I just don't see it. It would be a huge mistake to come out and drop a price for $600 and then say, sorry that y'all waited so long. People, that's going to be a whole nother topic for people to, and all the momentum that Xbox has been getting for this year, it will end up in a dud, because there's no Halo for this year. Then you got this overpriced console, which in theory, yes, it's affordable compared to everything that it has in there. But console gamers, especially casuals, they're not gonna understand about all the components and everything that's in that box. As much as you've talked about it, a lot of people ain't paying attention to that. They're paying attention to their wallets, especially going into the holiday season, especially with the pandemic going on, people not having jobs. There's a lot of crazy situations that's going on. And then what you would do is repeat 2013 with the price aspect, not with the messaging so much, but the price aspect. That's how I look at it. So, all right, let's get to the next topic, man. And so this is something that should be really quick, because I have no idea anything about it. I've never watched one. I've never participated into watching any of these. I don't know if this is new or if this has been around for a while. And this is DC Fandom. But there's something that's related to gaming that's going to be shown there. I don't know if they've showed stuff from gaming before. So I know that if Op was here, he would definitely want to talk about it. I know that PK and Bloody and I don't know about that for you so much, Slick, about how you think about it or whatever, if you pay attention to it. But I'm gonna start off with you watch it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna start off with PK on this one. But there is some related news that when it's come to gaming, when it's talking about a new Batman supposed to be being shown, which has been rumored for a while, is the Court of Owls, which is a really popular, really cool comic. I didn't know anything about it until I was a guest on. What? I didn't know anything about it.
No, I was saying when he said
nothing about
yeah,
it.
when he
No,
said
I didn't know anything
He
about
got
it.
caught up though. He got caught up
Okay,
though.
hold on.
He's
let
good
me-
now though. He's good now
Uh,
though. Give him a
yes,
pass.
yes, I did.
He
Hold
already
on.
got
I'm explaining myself. I didn't know
Don't
anything
make
about.
me reach through the broadband out to you.
Stop it. I didn't know anything about the Court of Owls until I went on Breakfast with Boom last year, and he asked me to come on to be a guest, and I was on there, and we was all discussing and talking, and then they brought it up about what could the Batman story be, and somebody brought that up, and I was like, and so I looked it up and I read it while I was on the show, and I was like, oh, why the hell I haven't even known about this? Sounds fantastic, right? So
Yeah.
so then I did my research, and then I started reading more about it, which that's on me. I just didn't know anything about it. So in 2019, beforehand, didn't know anything about no Court of Owls, right? So now I do know about it. So that's supposed to be a new Batman game that's going to be coming out. That's got me very excited. Also, there's the Suicide Squad game that's supposed to be coming out. Looks like something that's got to do with Superman, which maybe if you go back to listen to the rumors that DC was working on a Superman game, this might been that game, but it actually has something to do with Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad it having their own game and Superman being in it. So that sounds pretty intriguing. And then another thing for me that's really got my ears perked up is that there's rumors that the new DLC for Mortal Kombat 11, one of the characters will be Deathstroke. So that would be pretty interesting as well. If that's a rumor, don't know if that's a fact. A fact. But then there's also going to be a lot more information that's going to be coming out. It's coming on tomorrow. So PK, give us the whole spiel on it. Like I said, I don't know anything other than what I've just said right there. So let us know everything else that you know about it.
Definitely gonna be on that DC fandom all day. That's a 24-hour event. They
It's a
already,
No,
24-hour
no,
event.
no.
yes.
PK, they changed it. They're splitting it into two events, and they're 12 hours each. The one tomorrow, and then
12
there's one in
hours,
September.
a 12-hour show.
Either way, it's a huge event. They already tweeted me to schedule my time. They wanted me on board because they know I'm a super duper fan. And by the way, I just want to point out that they having a blurred um party tomorrow, and that is for Black nerds. And
Shout out to the Blurds.
they showed a picture of
Word.
all the black superheroes on the DC panel in this picture, including Hispanics, because there was Hispanics in this picture as well. So shout out, that's gonna be dope. Far as the games, yes. And when you go schedule your events that you're gonna watch, um, one of them that I schedule is for the Suicide Squad, but it's to capture to capture the Justice League. And where it talks about it a little bit. Now it's very vague, but it talks about capturing people like Superman, Flash, and a couple other heroes, but not Batman. I just thought that was super interesting. Batman doesn't get captured, just those guys. Um, and that's what your job is, to capture those guys. The other one is from Montreal. Uh, Warner Brothers in Montreal. They're working on the I think it's the Batman, not Arkham Knights. It is another Batman game and is rumored to have loosely based off of the Porter Owl's storyline.
Are you
So
talking about
right,
Batman Beyond?
no.
Okay.
Porter Owl's is the comic storyline that you're mentioning, and that's what the new game may be based off. It's a brand new continuity. I don't think it has anything to do with the Arkham series at all. I think the Arkham series storyline is done, and these games are reboots.
Oh, you think all
Um,
those games are going to be reboots?
yeah, they're because the Arkham storylines has its own
Yeah, it
continuity,
has its own. Yeah, yep. Okay.
so this will be different. Far as your mentioning of Deathstroke, that's just not happening. They're done with Mortal Kombat 11.
No,
They
they're
moved
not.
on.
No, they're not. They're not done with
They
Mortal Kombat 11. No, they've already said that they were going to be making additional DLC because Mortal Kombat 12 is going to be a lot. Is going to be long in the tooth. That
right, but
they
they
they that
also stated that they're
they said-
working on a different project
yeah.
outside of
Injustice.
Injustice
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat.
Injustice. Hmm.
No, they're not working on Injustice either. Something new, completely new.
So you saying that they ain't going to be working on Injustice 3?
I'm not saying that they won't at all. I'm
Hmm.
saying at this moment, it's a project.
Okay.
Period. I don't know when they're gonna work on Injustice 3 because a lot of the comics got canceled. They canceled a crap ton of DC comics, including the Injustice storyline. So
Well,
I don't know.
It's not that they
Well,
canceled on
the
everything. It's
from the
that they shut it all
rumors
down.
from the rumors of people that's in the know that I listen to them. I don't, like I said, I'm not deep into the DC lore like that. They're saying that and if you play the game, and of course I played the hell out of that game, so I listened to the dialogue over and over and over and over again. There is mentioning of the Necromancer. I think that's what his name is. The dude from the Darkest Night, the main villain from the Darkest Night. They mention him quite a bit through different characters within that
Well,
game, and so from people that follow DC and that are talking about Injustice 3, they say that is what's going to be the new tale that they're
I
going to.
mean,
So if that tale is kind of old, so maybe they might bring the Darkest Night, and even though that the comics are kind of dead right now.
so let me just mention this.
Okay.
Injustice comic series has so much story. They don't have to. They can pull from anything.
Hmm.
There's years. This takes place over several years. And Injustice 2, the game, is not even part of the third arc of the comic series. So they have plenty of stuff to pull from for the third game if that, whenever that happens. So I wouldn't say that. There's a couple of big events that happen in a comic series that would make more sense narratively if they were to pull from it, and that involves Zeus, et cetera, et cetera. But um, just for this particular event tomorrow, though, yes, there's going to be at the very least two big games and a third game, and there's also an unannounced rumor of something else that they did not. It's just scheduled there. They won't tell you what it is.
Hmm.
And it's, I guess it's meant for a surprise. So yes, there's definitely a lot of good stuff coming tomorrow. I'm gonna be on online all day, soaking this up, probably retweeting this stuff, and giving you guys all the juice as I get it. I am not playing. I ain't
Oh
playing.
no, that
I
no.
am.
We'll talk about it next week. You know what I'm saying. Well, I'll watch some of it. Now I'm not watching all 12 hours, but I'll definitely
Well, you
watch
pick and
some of
choose
it.
what you want, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You go in there and schedule whatever events. So if all you care about is the games, then schedule the games. I'm in, I'm a nerd, so I like everything. I want to sit there and watch everything. I want to see our black superheroes come back. So
Hmm.
yes, I'm looking forward to that. You know, but more importantly, uh, I think that you're correct on a lot of the things that were mentioned as a rumor. The only thing that I didn't like that was rumored, but it didn't come from DC, was there was a DLC character that's going to be exclusive to PlayStation platform.
Well, they only have Marvel, so I don't know how they would have anything that would be
I didn't.
now. Well,
Remember, it's a rumor.
yeah,
So
that is a rumor, but it also there's been a lot of rumors that's been floating around too that that that's even came from the the from the gaming media that said that Sony is doing some really crazy um, timed exclusive deals with other companies, and a lot of people are already assuming that it could be Grand Theft Auto 6, but it could be something like that to where they're like, look, this character could be here, this character be there, which I don't know. That's another another story to bring up as well. Like, I mean, how would the gamers actually feel for that? I understand it is business. We talked about this last week with the whole Spider-Man thing with what's it
Yep.
called, but that's a Marvel property, and I mean, well, I'm sorry,
this is
that's a
in
Sony's property, and that shouldn't even be an issue. But going and trying to pull
No,
in
it's actually really not because they only have the movie rights,
No,
not
he.
game
well,
rights.
But that. But
Right. So
but
yeah,
it
they
but it
keep
make
that separate.
but it makes sense though because
but they
Sony
use that
has
leverage to
yeah, but
get
Sony has
their
leverage. But to
Right, right,
pull
right. They had the foot in the door.
but yeah, but to pull in a DC character and make it
yes,
exclusive, that's I think
uh,
I don't know.
yes.
What do you think?
I you know I don't think nobody's going to be happy with it. Like I said, it's just a rumor. I don't believe it because AT&T is trying to get as much money as they can. Okay, we already know they're in a lot of debt. They can't play the sides, right?
Hmm.
They can't play sides. But if it is true, or this is why I talk about it because it was mentioned
Right.
that the PlayStation, the Batman game or whatever the game is that Montreal is working on, may have exclusive Red Hood as a exclusive character.
Whew. That's crazy.
Now, I'm not saying that's true because
Right. No,
I
it's a
don't believe
rumor. I
it,
mean, yeah.
but I read it and I was like, what? So it kind of made me look sideways. Um, I highly doubt that the Warner Media or AT&T will go that route,
Hey,
considering
like
they
you
trying to
said, they
make
need
that
that
money.
money. They need that cash.
But
Yeah, but they're making a lot of sales. Like they're trying to sell as much as they can with as much as they're shuttering down as it is. They're not gonna unless someone's gonna make a hefty profit. And here's the thing, they would never be able to make or Sony would never be able to make a payment for anything exclusive of what they're needing or what they're wanting for what they still have. Like because they've
Maybe if they
already they
maybe if they put it on the PlayStation 4
no,
and the
I'm
PlayStation
telling
5,
you because
maybe.
with what they were what Warner was already willing to sell to them, or what AT&T was trying to sell to them, and at the price that they wanted it at, Sony still said no, and it would have given them a big market share
Well,
of another industry.
But we're not talking about all the studios. We're talking about just one
No,
character.
it's not even about the studios.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. I'm telling you.
About in general.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm saying a lot of what they're trying to get rid of. One of the things that they approached specifically Sony at the price of what they wanted and what it would have entailed, Sony still said no. So Sony is not going to drop the kind of money for any exclusivity with DC that they're looking for.
At least not for an American or Western market, right?
Exactly.
If it was Eastern, for sure.
Well, even Eastern, that's another aspect of it. That's another thing of what I'm talking about.
Okay. I'll wrap it up then. So my thing is, yes, I think it's accurate. There's a lot of rumors going on. I'm gonna verify and validate all that stuff tomorrow. It's gonna be exciting for every fan, whether you're a comic fan, movie fan, or a video game fan. You're going to have a lot of stuff come down the pipe. That is for sure. Get ready.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'll definitely be looking at and checking some of it out. No doubt about it. So let me go to you, Slayer. What is your thoughts about this, man? I mean, how excited are you with?
I'm a I don't want to say closet super nerd on this stuff, but like I was at a point where I was reading comics like 89, 88, 89 when I started around the 4th grade, reading a lot of Marvel. X-Men and anything surrounded if there was any kind of crossovers, and then I would start reading those other things. And I really stopped around the whole thing with Onslaught. I want to say that was like 94, 95. The enemy you see at the end of Capcom 1.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, Professor X did kind of mind rape Magneto and did his whole thing. And it was to me like that was more than my mind could contain, And so fast forward to now when all this comic stuff, I'm very much a consumer of all aspects of, like, particularly with DC. My knowledge extends out from the animated entries that began with Batman the Animated Series, that whole Timverse that spawned from that, and anything else that's come out since, like, every 3 months or so, like Warner Animated is coming out with all these great films. Very recently, the combination of many entries in that line. The name escapes me. Help me out here, PK. Oh geez, man. Like
Wait, what?
The one that ended all like where a lot of those animated Warner films, the direct-to-video ones, and then it finally capped off, like ended in this most recent one.
Oh,
ended the story. Yeah, the one that
you're talking about, because that was
Justice
ended
League
with
Dark in it.
The last Justice League Dark film. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one. Right. So there's so my knowledge in the DC world extends out from there. The research you do, Wikipedia and elsewhere on the internet, to learn the things you're not too clear on, the details come to learn all these aspects. I never really read DC too much, except for when, like, Superman died. That was the main thing, around that time. A lot of speculators were doing that at the time, I guess. So when I see all this, this event now split into 2 days, there's just going to be a deluge of info and new content, from games to movies that are coming, all types of things. So definitely want to see. I'm interested in pretty much all of it, just like PK, and but not to the level of PK, but definitely as a consumer, it's someone who's definitely going to be absorbing some of the people who's this is really meant for, like, but it's a bit more casual-esque in it, but not fully. I'm kind of in between casual and like a super fan like PK, but I used to be more heavy. But anyway, so yeah, definitely want to see all that stuff. And so PK and I, behind the scenes, have been talking about doing a bit of a wrap-up show where we talk about all these events and things that are announced and showcased and stuff, games, content, movies, whatever they put out. Definitely.
That's beyond that. I'm just saying.
Oh, no doubt. That was the next words out of my mouth. Yeah, we're gonna have to work that out. But first, we have 2 days to go for lots of all this content. Thankfully, I'm off Monday, which would be a great day to.
I thought it comes out. It comes on tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's tomorrow and Sunday, right? And then Monday, we could maybe do a thing on that day to show where we discuss all the ins and outs of everything that happened over the weekend.
All right, cool. All right. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
No
looking
doubt.
for that. Looking forward for that.
Cool. All right, what about you, Bloody?
Oh, I gotta say, man, that everything that's been talked about, especially gaming wise, coming from that's gonna be at Fandom, is gonna be something interesting because of the fact that as a DC fan, like everyone knows here that I'm an absolute comic book fan. I was like, and the fact that there has been a new game come for Rocksteady, and now we're seeing that it's the Suicide Squad game, and there's still the other Arkham game that's coming out, supposedly following Court of Owls. Court of Owls is there's a reason it's one of the most loved Batman comics because it's one of the few comics that's ever really made really questioned Batman's entire philosophy in a very well depicted way by giving him a true equal that even his own son couldn't believed against Batman's own philosophy and was willing to go against everything that Bruce had taught him. And I think that's why Court of Owls and Owlman actually just completely stands out as one of the best storylines. So if it is loosely based on that, I would love to see that because the fact that we've seen how the Arkham series of games already has evolved the characters into their adult lives, and we've seen where Damian is. We've seen how Dick is as obviously as Nightwing and everything else. We saw what happened with Jason Todd and Red Hood, and then everything that happened in Arkham Knight. I won't say too much on that. There's a lot there. So I would love to see how this kind of evolves on that growing universe that they've kind of built up, because it'll be something interesting. I think that as everyone mentioned too, with the Suicide Squad game, I think that this is a surprise way to really do something with Superman that no one was thinking of. Instead of playing as him, you're hunting him. So why not do? Well, it's one of those things of, hey, it may be what everyone thinks it is, but it's going to be a switch up. It's not going to be the way that you think it is. And I think that'd be interesting. I can't wait to see what else that they have, especially with another game that they have in surprises. It'll be interesting because DC has a long list of things that they could do. Like, honestly, I would love to see more stuff. Obviously, we know all the big names, right? We know all the big names of the Justice League. We know all those. We know we've gotten well associated with the Suicide Squad over the years and stuff like that. We know a lot of those characters, right? I would love to see more and something different, because like I would love to see a game centered more around, like as Sick brought up, I would love to see more of a game honestly centered around the Justice League Dark. We not a lot of people get to see more of the supernatural side of the DC comics, except for those who are obviously fans of that, because the way that you can see a lot of the supernatural aspects of it is only whenever John Constantine and the rest of the Justice League Dark come around. That's Zatanna, Swamp Thing, and all them. Whenever they get involved, that's when a lot more of that kind of stems out. And there's a big supernatural element to DC. So I would love to kind of see more on that, because we don't need another game. We don't need another game on Batman, but it's nice because we saw how great the Arkham games were. We don't need a game about Superman. Yeah, exactly. But everyone knows Batman, right? Everyone knows Superman. A Flash game would be cool, but everyone knows Flash. A game about Green Lantern would be cool, but everyone knows Green Lantern. Not a lot of people know a lot of the others, right? So it'd be cool to kind of see more varied and get to see some of the characters that we don't know. And that's why I say that a game about the supernatural element of things and get to see characters that we've never really get to see would be cool to see. So that's why I'm just like, something about the Justice League Dark would be real awesome, because let people get introduced more to Swamp Thing, get to be more introduced to Constantine and Zatanna, and get to see more of like Dr. Fate and all the others. A lot of those characters that really go unnoticed, except for the times that they got to go into be a big part of the story. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, that's a great point.
So I'm excited to see whatever this surprise game is. Maybe it's Injustice 3. That'd be interesting, but we'll kind of see. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's another big DC crossover with more stuff in Mortal Kombat. We'll kind of see it all play out.
Mortal Kombat versus DC. How about
maybe.
that?
Let's actually hope that it's not a T-rated game like the last one, and it's actually stepping out.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
NetherRealm got a lot of clout. I don't know if
they do now. They do now.
They did then.
Compared to
yeah. So.
But also, I'm just gonna say that Yakuza gameplay. Listen, I haven't got to put my own stuff up there. I was like, that was me finishing out the last achievement, doing them ultimate battles, which took too long. Wow. Worth it. And that Mortal Shell gameplay, yo, I'm gonna say this right now, real quick. Mm-hmm. If y'all, for anyone who's always been iffy when it comes to Dark Souls games, y'all need to go check out Mortal Shell. It has a lot of the appeal of what makes Dark Souls really enjoyable without all the extra craziness that makes Dark Souls hard to get into. It's a very quicker pickup pace. It still has that style of combat for Dark Souls people. I was like, but those who want to get into it without all the time dedication that takes to get into Dark Souls, absolutely fun. Really worth it. And I was glad that I really support PlayStack and glad that they sent me codes for that game. Like, go and check it out.
That's dope. That's really dope. I know that.
I know you played the demo of it.
Yeah,
right?
I played the demo, and I can't find my my gameplay of it because I got into the point where I got into the cave. And
yeah, once you play the actual game,
you can switch. Yeah. That's where I got Mortal Shell. You could switch bodies. You could go into different like dead bodies and take over that body, that shell.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow.
Those each completely change different fight styles, and that's what I like about it. But I was like what I put up is very unique, and I was like, and I like the fact that the way that they have it is that, hey, there's different weapons, but you have to fight secret bosses to unlock those secret weapons. I was like, it's a pretty cool way that they did it, but it's still very, very small. It's not super big like Dark Souls, so it's definitely something that a lot of people could definitely get into. And for a price point of $30 for a very short game, that still gives you a challenge, it's well worth the price.
Yeah, it's not that expensive either, but it is a little bit easier than Dark Souls. But that part is true. All right, guys. Let's move on. Like I said, that was going to be a quick one because I don't know too much about DC Fandom, but I will check it out. I'm not going to say it for no damn 12 hours though. All right, so let me go ahead and skip number 4, even though that is important. Let's see how much time that we have because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I do want to get to my topic finally because I do want to
just do that topic. Let's just go out on that one, right? Let's say the other ones.
Okay. Well, no, we have time.
I would. You know what? Well, you know what we should do?
What?
Compromise. Let's do number 6 now, and then we'll do whichever other ones afterwards.
Oh, whichever one by the time frame, because I'm going to cut it off once we get to that particular time. All right, so that's fine. Okay, so let's get to the topic that I've been trying to talk about for the last couple of weeks. And what's going on with you, Pred? And this is okay. So first off, the new dashboard that people have seen coming on to the look like now I don't know if I'm sure that it will be on the Xbox One, but it's for the Series X. I don't know that yet, so please correct me if I'm wrong about that with the new dashboard that we've seen with the crazy looking backgrounds and all of that stuff, but also the new Xbox store. I don't know if all you guys already got it yet, but I'm going to go to you, Bloody, first. What do you think about that new dashboard that you've seen that's coming to Xbox? And then what do you think about the new store, the new Xbox store that they have available? And then we'll get to and then it's going to be tied in because that's what Slayer wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. So all right.
So I've been in the preview program for the past years, and I'm in the beta ring. I didn't want to do the alpha ring just because I know there's a little bit more issues with the alpha ring, but I've been a part of the beta ring. And I've had the new dashboard for about 2 months now, and for the past month I've had the new store before they started showing off. And I gotta say, the new store and the new UI overall is so much better. It's more intuitive, it's more responsive, it's completely faster, and it's just a more overall organized system, especially the store. The store has been definitely needing a new revamp, and we kind of saw how they were making changes with the new Xbox app that was on PC where they have the beta for Game Pass, right? And that's going to be their new de facto Xbox app on PC. And we've seen how they cleaned up the UI and made the store better from the Xbox app on PC, and how a lot of people like, yo, the Windows stores has been needing a massive cleanup because it's so clunky, it's unresponsive, it's disorganized, it's trash, right? Well, now when a lot of people look at the PC store going through the PC Game Pass app and everything, they're like, this is a lot more responsive, this is more organized, this is much better. And we know that they've been trying to unify all of their experiences and a lot of those aspects across all their platforms and across all their a lot of their ecosystem. You can even see semblances of this for those who are in the xCloud streaming with the way that the menus and everything play out, even in the xCloud streaming app itself, from the way that you can search through things, the same with the Xbox Game Pass app and everything, how it's more organized and knowing whether you want to look by specific genres or anything like that. So the store now is much more fluid. A lot of people kind of made references that it's similar to the PlayStation UI, and there is definitely semblances and a lot of similarities between the Xbox, the new store, the new Xbox store, as well as where the PlayStation store has been. However, the other biggest thing about it is the fact that while the PlayStation store has definitely been this way for a little bit, they haven't tried to clean it up more. They haven't tried to improve it. It's definitely great. It is a very nice store and it's worked really well. They were the first one that had the cart system as well as the wish list. Well, I don't think they had the wish list for until a while back after Microsoft started incorporating that, but they did have the cart and how they had the checkout system and a lot of things like that, compared to where on Xbox you had to make a single purchase every time instead of being able to buy multiple things at a time, except if you were on the Xbox.com website going through the Microsoft store there. So it's definitely much more responsive. Even on playing on the One X, it's significantly fast. It's much faster than how the old store was. And they have it broken down into whether you're looking for movies, whether you're looking for TV shows, whether you're looking specifically for games. And then once you go into games, you can look for full games and how it was organized before, new releases, top selling new, top selling free, and then they even have a specific areas for DLCs now, which is really great. And then they even have in the deal section, it's much more cleaner on how it's separating each of the big sales that are going on or anything that they're doing, whether it's their own sale like we have with the Xbox Ultimate, or if there's a publisher sale, that sale is different. And then they even have a deal section now specifically for movies and anything that they're promoting through that. So it's much, much better. And I'm glad that they decided to really start showcasing it now, because a lot of what we're seeing in these new updates on the One X and in the PC is what's going to be the new signifying UI that's going to bridge all the ecosystems together, because this is going to give us an idea of how the UI is going to look on the next gen console with the Series X. Because even as they showcased earlier this week too, on top of that, guess what? The dashboard is also getting a secondary overhaul, because guess what? Now it's supporting animated backgrounds, something that a lot of people have wanted for a while. And if you look at on PlayStation, they have the dynamic theme backgrounds and a lot of what those do. So with the fact that now we're getting animated backgrounds, it may be at some point we may be able to get something similar to dynamic backgrounds or anything like that can actually do a lot more to change and do a lot more personalization for everyone's individual home screens.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I definitely, I'm very happy with the changes that were made.
All right, good deal. All right, so what about you, Slayer? What did you think about the dash and then if you have the store?
Okay, I definitely have the store. I have the
Mhm.
dash, but not the one they're showing off. That's not what Bloody has either.
Yeah, nobody has that yet.
But we have like half of it, because
Right.
the version in the video is a little bit ahead, but we do have some elements of it.
Already the more cleaned up multi-tile that's kind of been around the past couple months. That was like the first step of it.
Right. We don't have the rounded edges in other aspects, but we definitely have the core element is definitely there, because you feel the performance has had an uptick in the dashboard for about a year and a half or so now. Definitely has been clear, but even before then, where the performance of the dashboard has been getting better and better and better, low key, like bit by bit, piece by piece, performance has been increasing. They're moving around some things. Some things I don't like where they move them to in terms of like the settings and options. When you go into to change certain settings, they group them up in different odd ways, but there's still a lot of things are still in flux, and then you have the whole A and B approach, and so other people are not seeing what I'm seeing in terms of their menus and stuff. So they're still fooling around with the fit and finish of things, but the performance is definitely there, and the store in and of itself is completely redone, much akin to what they did at the end of the life of the PS3. They came out with this new store that was completely redone, far faster than the really garbage, what basically was a website on the PS3 back then. But here on the Xbox One is kind of a similar situation where they totally redid the store. It's so much better and faster, more feature filled and everything, but using 40% less RAM. I mean, who would have thought that in 2020 a console would be giving more RAM back to the developers yet again? This is not even the first time this has happened. This is incredible. Or this memory might be used for something else. Who knows? But going forward to the Series X, we already can see that this same dashboard is what's going to be launching with the Series X. And so if the Xbox One, base Xbox One, is getting this level of performance, the Series X with its Zen 2 processors and all the RAM and everything it's got can handle that at 4K no problem, and we're seeing newer features and like animated backgrounds and stuff that we don't even have access to yet that are at play, and they won't even break a sweat on none of those things. But to talk, do you want me to transition into
No. I'm going to ask everybody afterwards.
I'm going to leave it at that, man. I mean, the dashboard, nothing but positive things to really say on the positive progress. It's not done yet, but I mean, it's been 90% good, 95% good. Just some issues I have with the way they group certain settings in the settings section with the gear there.
Like what? Like explain that part.
Oh, geez, I can name. I'm always bad at naming a specific thing unless I, pre-thought about it. But like when it comes to, to get the system update, to check for system updates, like there were more pages back in the settings thing. Now it's grouped into lesser group. Like there's a group of 8 things instead of being like 10 or 12 that it was before.
Right.
So now it's harder to find. Say if you just want to go into the system and check if you have an update. Manually go check the update.
I find it so much easier. You just go into your games and app settings. Then
I mean the system. Yeah. I mean the system, not per game. Per game can be was more of a nightmare. But I think what you're talking to there, yeah, they definitely did improve that part. But that's not what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about the games? Oh, I don't. I just
no. The system in and of itself.
Oh, you just go to settings and then then you go straight to what is it? Game. It's called. Hold on, I'm gonna look at. Hold on, you're gonna make me
see what I'm saying. Right now. It's not too logical. It's not a.
Oh no, it's just easy to go to. Because I go and check it all the time.
2 steps down instead of 1 step in, so it's more steps now. Actually,
hold on. I'm gonna tell you where to go to it. But okay, all right. But PK, your turn, man. Just talking about the UI, and then it's kind of like just a quick question from you guys about the second part of this. What do you think about the new UI for the store and for the new interface that's going to be coming? Did he step away too?
He must have.
Give him a minute, because sometimes he'll say, okay, well I guess not. All right, well let me just ask you guys this question then. Hold on, I'll turn on my Xbox so I can go ahead and show this. So let me ask you this, Slayer. Out of the OG Xbox and the PlayStation, well, not PlayStation, the OG Xbox, the 360, and the X1, overall, which console do you feel to be the best? And people in the chat, please let me know what you think as well. I want to know on both ends, on Twitch and on YouTube. I want to know, what do you guys think overall? Now, I know that right off the bat, I think what most of the people are going to say, but think of it overall, not just from one aspect, but the overall console and everything that was implemented with that console, the good and the bad. What would be your overall Xbox, and I'll do this with the PlayStation here a couple of weeks from now, and then also with Nintendo. So it's just not an Xbox thing. But go ahead, Slayer. Which one do you think? Because I know it's been weeks to ponder on this, and what
Yes.
do you think? Which one you
Well,
think? And
it
what's the
didn't take me
reasoning
weeks.
behind it?
Well, it didn't take me weeks to ponder on this because, like, generally, I had my opinion set in stone in my mind off bat. And the reason why I want to transition off of the dashboard is because the dashboard is the reason. See, you can't directly compare these consoles because of hardware power. Clearly, Xbox One X is the most powerful. It could do everything these other ones did, but faster, better, all those things, and things the previous ones could not do. But you don't look at it like that. You look at for its time, and for its time. To me, I think most people are probably going to say the 360. This is what I assume you're alluding to,
Right.
Because in many ways, the 360 wasn't just about horsepower, but it was about the power software and leveraging it, how it evolved over time. You can say whatever you want about the evolving dashboards and you missed the blades and that the blades didn't have ads. Yes, they do. There's a picture I should have prepared to bring that, to post that. I have mod support. I could have just dropped that in. But yeah, the 360 Blaze dashboard had ads from day one, and I have an image that can prove it later on. I'll tweet it if I remember. But the dashboard always improved. At first with the base thing, it couldn't even play no XVid or DivX videos or MP4s, off bat, and that was a popular format back in that time. It didn't do certain things, but over time the dash added things. They added the party chat. They changed the compression so the voice chat sounded better. They did so many things where with the dashboard, how it could slide in, you could send a voice message, a text message. You could text somebody with the little chat pad adapter you get for your controller to plug into the bottom, and a little chat window could pop up while the game is still going. It doesn't work like the slide in dashboard thing. The very concept that they even had that, that's much akin to pressing the Windows button on your keyboard in Windows when you're running an app and you still have that menu pop up to launch something else, or to adjust certain things while your main app is running. And you could do that with the 360, where you could if you're playing custom music tracks and switch the tracks, and while that's running, if you had the remote, and particularly if you had the launch bundle system when you got the mini remote, was something that was sold separately, still have mine, and a lot of people wish they could get mine, and offered me a lot of money for that, $150 once even, I could just use that if I had my songs on a playlist to just hit next track on that without having to pop in the menu. But all those things were able to be done in more because of the power of the software, where they were able to update the firmware of the dashboard. Because before the time of the 360, whatever dashboard or interface, which was very minimal at the time, admittedly, on these consoles, if they even had one, was very simple. It was basically to launch the game and to manage your memory cards or built-in memory or whatever you had, and that's about it. Maybe you have time, and if it was network capable, to set up your network like settings, but that was a later add-on. If your console had an add-on to do that, it was very simple. But now that dashboard does a lot of things. It's very. But the thing about it, my issue, and why I don't pick the Xbox One, besides the fact that the 360 introduced that, so therefore it gets that more weight, but because with the Xbox One, and the PS4 did the same era as well, they both did this. They restarted from ground zero, re-implementing all of those features. There were some of these features that the 360 had, the Xbox One didn't have at first. And even when they replicated the feature, they didn't replicate right. And the best example I always give is, like I said earlier, the 360 had custom music tracks, right? Support for that, but it was intelligent about when it played the tracks, because there was flags in the game, to switch music tracks, and just because you were using your own music, it knew to still engage those flags with your track. So if a cutscene popped off, it would mute and pause your music because the cutscene is playing. And then when that was over and it was time for music to kick back on, your music would unpause and then slowly transition the volume back up. So it was seamless. It was like your music that you chose was a part of the game experience, and not just, you playing, your MP3s on your sound system in the background and just reducing the volume in your game's music in its audio settings. It was your music was the soundtrack of the game, now, and it was well integrated. But in the Xbox One, they didn't do that. It just played your songs. That's just one example of something they did. They had to restart ground zero to get those features back to what you already had after years of effort and experience in mastering a platform to do that. And they're not making the same mistake. The Series X is going to have the same dashboard that's further improved. And the previous generation still gets to enjoy those benefits and improvements still. And so
Okay,
thank
so
God this has been updated and it's not being redone again. But the 360 is the
okay, so it's
best
the
because for the
360.
Xbox on that road. And
Okay,
that's very important. I feel those two were related.
okay, so it's the 360 overall.
Definitely.
Okay, all right.
No doubt about it.
PK, are you back? Okay, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. So,
Oh, let's say, well.
I didn't really go anywhere, but
well, I called on you like 3 times.
sorry, I didn't hear you. I
Damn,
thought Bloody was
PK.
still
Yeah,
talking.
now who's ignoring who?
Hey, I thought Bloody was still talking.
So you wasn't paying attention. All right, so, so, all right, so,
Womp womp.
I know that's bad. Um,
I'm sorry, I'm just
let's let's talk about the dashboard, and then also let me hear your thoughts about the about out of the three Xboxes that's come out, which one to you overall is the overall best? Is it the OG? Is it the 360 or is it the Xbox One? Which if you would you can add the Xbox the Xbox One X. That could be because it's a mid-gen whatever. So, but which one of the three out of those was considered your best on top of the dash? Which let's talk about it. Let me hear what you got to say.
so you wanted my opinion on dashboards, right? I feel
First,
like
right, 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 right.
I feel like the dashboards overall. I mean, real Microsoft updates this stuff once. They always take community back to help craft a better by experience all the times. I feel like it's always a path forward. I never look at it as a negative. Look where they started with Windows 8-ish app setting,
Yikes,
where they at
yes.
now. That's a huge evolution. Then you look at dashboard, the other consoles, PlayStation, same, and I just look at it as a positive that yes, there's some features that they don't have that PlayStation had, but it looks like they're coming down the pipe. Um, and the thing is, that's a good thing. They listen to our feedback, taking what we say and implementing the best what they can. Not always perfect, but at least you see that it's progression and that they are taking our opinions seriously. That's what a lot. Well, I like the new dashboards. I hope the dynamic themes do come. That's a big deal. I think that's a huge draw. Let's hope for that.
Okay.
As far as the consoles, I would say first of all they both had a not so good launch. 60 had a lot of console failures. Did launch a year, and the Xbox One had a bad launch as well. But both consoles in the end kind of came to their own creation both ways. Um, so I would say they're equal on that front. I would say that the 60 has the edge when it comes to games because they had the games.
Right.
Pretty much all the fighters came. They were the official console to function. They basically had the edge all the way around. And Last Blue debuted on Xbox on 360. Well, it's I would say on the games 60 got it. Overall, I mean the functionality, network, all the little techniques they added to making your games download faster, added the community board and improved a lot of the online functionalities. Not to mention, they have 450,000 dedicated servers for Xbox One versus 200,000 a huge increase. The I would say the Xbox One has it on the tech side, so it's kind of like a hit and miss. If I would say they're equal in my favorite, I think they're equal in that terms. But overall, I would say the 360 does got it in games. Xbox One tech tech support implementation of things. I mean, think about how fast your game download compared to how it would, because it's still a limiter, wrong, but the transfer rate much bigger. It has a burst mode, bigger game.
Okay. All right. So it's kind of a split between the 360 and the Xbox One for you. All right. All right, Bloody, take us home with this one. Which one out of the three do you feel that is the best? Is the best in your opinion?
360.
360.
The 360 is has to be the best. Well, you look at what the Xbox, the OG Xbox set up, right, with the custom music media center and a lot of things like that, how they started Xbox Live and online gaming and really making those online servers in a lot of aspects, right? A lot of that didn't come into fruition or didn't get perfected until the 360 era. And the 360 era is also where they started experimenting with everything that we have now. And what I mean by that is look at everything that exists in the gaming market today and look at who were the first to do it. Obviously, you're going to have PC and things like that, but really look at it, right? DLC, something that wasn't thought of, digital content or anything like that, didn't really come into fruition or really start becoming popular until it started being a thing that was on the Xbox Live marketplace. Now, people fail to know that Sega had an idea of this way back in the Dreamcast days, but the Dreamcast, unfortunately, was met with a lot of, while it was definitely a loved console, it was met with a lot of unfortunate aspects of things and kind of failed and kind of caused Sega to get out of the console market. But Sega was innovative. A lot of what they had plans ended up being worked on with Microsoft. And look at how that all played out and came into fruition with the success of the Xbox consoles. They had internet. People don't even know that the Dreamcast was actually experimenting with online and actually had a network adapter that would be able to be used to be able to play games online. And one of the games that they wanted to use it was their Sonic party game, which was similar to what we have with Mario Party and things like that, as well as they had a patent or an idea of selling online digital content that you can get through this online market that would be able to be downloaded directly to your console to add more content to games over time. But it never came through until we see how it kind of really took off with the 360. Now you also look at everything that 360 did later on in its years and how that really shaped where the Xbox One came into and how a lot of games companies are doing things now. Look at what the 360 did by introducing cloud saves, allowing, instead of having to carry a hard drive, carry a thumb drive or anything of your cloud data, your having to carry around a flash drive or anything with any of your save games, any of your profiles on. So if you go to somewhere else, have to carry that with you, so that way you can download and be able to play with your friends on their consoles or whatever, and be able to be signed in and save all your information, so that way you can have all your stats and all your saved items and stuff like that, depending on what you're playing or anything that you've earned to be able to be used with them. You'd have to do that. However, they started experimenting with cloud saves. So instead, all you would have to do is just sign into your account, or you can just carry it again on that thumb drive, and several of your games would have their save data that you choose to put up there into this cloud save with 2 gigabytes back then, which was a lot. 2 gigabytes for all your save data for you to be able to sign in and carry your information, your save games or anything like that anywhere you went. And now look at how that has been perfected and grown on the Xbox One. Now, every aspect of your save data is completely in the cloud. It has a local copy, it has a cloud copy, and that's automatically done. Whereas if you look at the PlayStation, it only has local saves, and only for PlayStation or PSN members, you have to actually go in and upload whatever data you wish to save to the cloud that you can only get if you're a PSN member to be able to carry that information anywhere. Whereas in with the Xbox, it's for Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, or even just free Xbox members. Everyone has access to the cloud saves. Doesn't matter whether you have a subscription or not. It's available to everyone. We've seen how they evolved their UI, starting out with what was essentially the blades way back in the original dashboard for the 360, and then how it evolved and kind of became what was the first iterations for the early on of the Xbox One. However, we kind of saw how the Xbox One's UI and a lot of everything that the console is capable of really kind of went back on a lot of features that the 360 had really grown and perfected, as kind of what PK was saying earlier, is that they really did add a lot, but the Xbox One kind of walked back a lot of those. Now, there were aspects of the 360 that was definitely a hindrance. You know, obviously the launch was hard, and then of course the Red Ring of Death really affected them. However, it was several smart business decisions that came through that kind of helped to really push the 360 to be one of the most successful consoles, especially at that time. You know, they both the PS3 and the Xbox 360 both hit just about 85 million console sales, right? Of course, you know, you look at the best-selling console of all time. No one denies that the PS2 was absolutely just an amazing machine. But you look at what the PS3 did compared to the PS2, and kind of a lot of the issues that had, where they weren't able to do a lot of back compat, because only the original fat PS3s were able to do back compat with PS2. Then the later versions didn't have the drive that would be able to read discs, and even with their software, the chip, and then even with their software to be like, okay, well, guess what? We'll make a way to be able to read it. It still wasn't great. So a lot of PS2 games weren't able to be read and done through back compat on the PS3 and the later years of the generation.
But this is about the Xbox.
But but you look at what the Xbox was able to do, is that it was always able to do backwards compatible with a lot of OG Xbox games. It was able to read a lot of those. They even later on started being able to add a lot of those games to be digital sales, so where you could buy those games digitally when they started expanding the store. However, it wasn't able to. It didn't really pick up with their back compat until what later on was with the Xbox One. But one of the biggest issues with back compat back on the 360 is that if you got games or discs from other countries, or you had a hard drive that was from another country, it had really bad region lock. So one of the things is, like, some of the hard drives, a lot of them were either made here, or a lot of refurbished were Japanese hard drives. So if you try to play OG Xbox games on a Japanese refurbished hard drive, it wouldn't allow you to, because it was region locked, because it was reading it as a Japanese game. It didn't region lock for 360 discs, but OG discs it did. And we kind of saw how a lot of games started not being region locked coming into this generation. So a lot of what the 360 set up was precedent for what became absolutely a major part of the Xbox One as we know it now. Yes, the Xbox One evolved. However, without what they tested back during that era, a lot of the things may not be as we have now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the 360 for you, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So let me close it out. Pretty much. And also let me tell you this right off the bat, Slayer, before I forget. All you got to do is just hit the X button, go to profile and system, then go to settings, and then it's right there, updates, right there when when you hit systems, it's right there, and then you hit updates. So,
Gotcha. Thanks.
right, right. It's not,
But uh, but but
okay.
profile and settings, you see, like what? No, I'm sorry. Like profile and system. Why are those groups together? They have nothing to do with it.
Well,
That's my issue.
well,
But
because
and thus me being confused about where they are.
because they were all spread out, and you had to go. It took you a lot longer to go to certain things. So instead of just because the one thing that would piss me off with the old one, with the old tab, well, it wouldn't piss me off, but it would just be a nuisance. Is that everything
Mhm.
was individualized, and now, like, I mean, most people don't go into their profile, but they do go into their systems, especially when they want to do check for the see if they have updates or if they want to check about if they
Right.
do something.
Yeah, that's what I
So
brought up. Yeah.
like if you go and you look at that, having the profile, which is probably the least used thing out of everything out of the tabs, combine that with the system, then it's like, oh, well, you know what? Let me go and check and see if I have made any points, or let me go check this or check this on my profile. I maybe want to change my picture on my profile, whatever the case may be, because you're always going to go check something that's in your settings. So I think that, and then they got also the Xbox Assist and the customize your guide and all that other stuff in there. But no, I like the way it's separated a lot more. So okay, for me, this was kind of tricky because when you looked at it, it was definitely the 360 had the games. There was no question about that. But let's not forget about how the OG had games too. I mean, there's games that was on the OG Xbox that just didn't come on to the 360, and those were absolute classics that was on the OG Xbox. So I look at it for overall because the 360 was a console that lasted a lot longer than both the Xbox One and the OG Xbox. I mean, the 360 overall is definitely going to win because it had the majority of the games in that aspect, games wise. But um, you can't sleep on the OG Xbox games, and really when it comes to the Xbox One, it comes in last compared to the comparisons to the 360 and the OG Xbox. In that retrospect, when you talk about Xbox exclusives and stuff like that. Um, but this is where I say that I'm different from everybody, from the majority of people, because I know majority of people is going to say the 360, and it is right, bloody, that if it wasn't for what from what Microsoft has done with the 360, with the evolvement of the system, and I know that you said it too, Slayer and PK as well, but the One X, and see if there was no One X, then it would be clearly the 360 for me as well. Um, but the One X has one upped everything. That the reason why I wanted to come up with this topic was because that new Windows Store is so high tech. It's so next gen. Like, that's the best store Xbox has ever made. It's better than what they do on PC. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It looks like something from, like, you looking at Netflix or something. It's especially when you go and you're checking the movies and you got the options if you want to hear the sound, if you don't want to hear the sound. Automatically, one of the things I hated with the old thing is where some of the games would show and play, or you couldn't. You that big ass block would come up there and block half of the view, and you had to wait, I guess, 2 or 3 seconds before you could actually start seeing the trailer. It's just right there in the window, right there, and it's so fluent. It's fast. I love it. 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 And it's just like what I've told them in the previews program. All you have to do is tweak it. Don't ever change it. There is really no reason to change that. To me, there's no reason to change what the Xbox Store looks like now. Um, I was waiting for them to make the stuff for the interface. They're gonna do the one thing. Look, sometimes you have to, imitation is flattery, and PlayStation has been doing it right when it comes to their with their interface, with their UI. It's awesome. My PlayStation has this crazy burning sun in the background. I love it. It just makes my TV glow every time I turn it on. And Xbox needs something like that. It just definitely do. I mean, they've been way behind the ball, behind the eight ball when it comes to those type of enhancements to where you could customize your back screen. PlayStation has been well ahead of that. Um, and then also when it comes down to just the one thing why I have to dock the 360 is because of the red ring of death. The Xbox One hasn't had anything that was close to what the red ring of death was. And regardless of all the great things that the 360
Dirty disc
had.
error.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, but you had that as well on the 360. You had all the red ring of death. Your hard drives would get messed up. There was a lot of problems that happened. I went through about six 360s. So
Damn, I
compared to
didn't go through a single one.
I went through three 360s. I went through about probably about
I had like 3 Red Ring of Death,
yeah.
warranty coverage. When they
I,
were doing
I
those 3
all of
years
my
for free.
all
Yeah.
of my four of my 360s had the red ring of death until I got the new the black ones, the new the mid gen refresh ones. Those were fine, but I had issues with my hard drive because the old hard drives used to mess up on you. Remember the old crazy ones that was on the OG the OG
I don't
360
know.
ones?
I still have mine. I actually kept mine, even though
it
I moved to a
it
new
it
model. I
it
kept the drive.
it messed up on me because once it hit that red ring of death, it messed up all my content. So I don't know, that just could have just been on my end, but it messed up all of my content. That's why a lot of those games that I had that I wanted to put into the cloud that didn't come and transfer over when I looking for them for backwards compatibility. I'll have those games, but all for the games that I for when I beat The Witcher 2, it doesn't register. The characters and the characters and stuff that I've had from certain games or the outfits that I had in Tekken Tag and Tekken 6, those are all gone. I'm basically starting over from scratch. So so yeah, that was pretty disappointing for me. And then again, like the only issues that I have had with my Xbox One X and for my Xbox One, the Xbox One, I still have the OG Xbox One. It's in the closet. The disk drive messed up on me, and they replaced it. That was it. That was the only thing that I had that was a problem. It still works today. Um, and I think that was pretty much on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I think that they just put a cheap ass disk drive in there and did it because they wanted to try to force people to get to the digital age. I really do think that. I could be wrong, could be just a conspiracy theory, but I really do think that they were just like, we want you people to buy more digital games, and so we don't really care about these hard drives like that. So but with my Xbox One X, I had that issue where I bought it and then like a couple of months later it overheated. They replaced that. Haven't had any more problems with that. But that's two minor things, and I haven't had to replace or pay for anything extra. I did have to pay for because I ran out of warranty on two of my 360s. So those things to me, those things count. Now that wasn't the only console that I had to buy multiple times. The PlayStation 1 was the most bought console that I had, and really I didn't buy them all because I had a friend that worked at KB Toy Store and he kept exchanging them. I went through around damn near 10 or 11. Anywhere from
Holy what?
anywhere from
I'm
nine
about to curse. My
nine
bad. Damn.
nine. No, you can cuss. I mean, it's no big deal. We adults. Uh,
10? Holy shit.
between 9 and 11. Um, because I could have my math off a little bit because I also had like two different versions of. I had the really small version of the Xbox One. I mean, I'm sorry, of the PS1, the little small discs that they gave out later on around like the PlayStation 2, and I bought that. That still works. That's in the closet. Um, but the original PlayStation One, I went through 9 to 11 of them bitches, and they all had the same problem where that disc would mess up, and you would have to turn it over upside down, or try to turn it, or try to do some crazy shit to where you could get the eye to get closer to read the game because it was always something with that eye, and I had to buy two. But then when my friend worked at KB Toy Store, he was just like, man, hey, when it close to closing hours, man, just go ahead and bring that PlayStation over, man, because he would come over, we play games and stuff, and he was like, oh, you having the same problem? He tell me you have no idea how many people have to exchange them, and they don't know anything about the warranty system, and so they just got to buy a brand new one. And so other people just say hell with it, and they just go and they just get something else. They'll get a Nintendo 64, or they'll get a Sega Saturn or whatever. But yeah, I went through a whole bunch. That's the most console I went through ever. I went through a lot of PlayStation 2s, but that was just because of, um, just I bought like 4 or 5 of those. It wasn't because of any wear and tear. It's just because of I would sit there and I would have it, and I leave it over, and then like my kids, I would have one in my kids' room, and little young kids, they'll do dumb shit. So it wasn't no big deal on that aspect, but it wasn't because they just broke down, but that was the most. But yeah, no, I went through a lot of them. But yeah, no, for me it's the Xbox One. I find that to be the most. I found that to be the better overall console. Not for the games because the games is clearly belongs to the 360, but just for
You
everything with the
mean in
features and
terms of how
everything.
it works all together, the whole
Right?
pound for
How?
pound?
Yeah. Pound for
I could agree
pound.
with that. The pound for pound currently, yeah, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
it for
but
me.
the best people's champ, I still feel is 360. I think that's the most consensus. We had one off for that, but and like one in between. I would so
What's up,
I,
Handy?
I would call it for the 360. I guess I would say, and at the same time, the Xbox One, what you bring up, I think I agree with that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's just the Xbox One X. If it wasn't for the Xbox One X, then no, it would be the 360 for sure. But it's the Xbox One X that sets it apart from everything else because of the features that it has now, the progression in everything. Of course, the progression of just what the interface has done, how fast, how fluid it is. It overall
I
graphically,
got a
it's
dip.
yeah. We about to get out of here. So
Okay.
yeah, it's all of these things that's culminated into one that's just a better console for me. But anyway, Sir X Man in the chat, he says OG Xbox brought online to life. It started it started it all. No, no doubt, no doubt. Oh, and then my last point on that too was the digital. This is the console that made me go all digital. 360, I still had a whole bunch of games, and now I can't even look back to just see that I've needed all those discs. Only time that I really think that it's really necessary if you're going to buy annual games, but I still, even now, like when Madden drops, I'm finna get that game. Um, well, hopefully, and so I'm going to try to get that game, but it's going to be digital. I'm not going to even get it for a disc, and I know that's crazy, but hell, there might not even be a GameStop here, and they don't give you shit back for your games anyway. So it's really pointless. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and do our sign outs. Oh, PK, where can they find you at, man?
Hey, you can find me here at GRG every Friday. And find me on my Twitter at PKX Live and my YouTube channel at PK Entertainment. Um, Hopefully get some new content up soon. Definitely after this weekend, gonna have some more things coming down the road because of DC fandom. I'm always here with my brothers in arms, trying to keep you guys entertained.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, Bloody, where can they find you at?
Man, they can find me everywhere, all over on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course on Twitch and here on YouTube, all at Bloody Nux, BLOODIEKNUX. And they can find me over on Twitch, especially where I stream 4 times a week and everything, and every Saturday where I host the Smash podcast, and of course here every Friday with you guys. I'm actually about to go stream some Battletoads,
Nice.
so I gotta go do my thing.
All
So
right,
peace, people.
peace. All right, and Six Layer, where can they find you at, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? You can find me right here on GRG every week, 9:30 Eastern, and whatever your so-called God's time. Anyway, moving on. Shit. I gotta keep the flow. Fuck, then I lost the flow. Yeah. And everywhere great games are played, you can find me, Six Layer. Check me out on Twitter. I say stuff, I guess. Whatever. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, that was
Yeah.
that.
I lost it, bro. I
That yeah,
lost
you
the
lost
flow.
it when
You
you were
messed
trying to
me
be
up with
trying to
that
be
one.
cute. You were trying to be cute with it, and it failed miserably. All right, I heard Livewire in the background. He just missed the damn show, but you there
Yeah.
live? Yeah, where can he find you at, man?
Find me on my channel, Livewire Gaming. I'm posting up stuff up there from time to time.
Hmm.
Check out some Battletoads and some flight sim stuff I did.
All right, cool.
That's it.
All right, one more thing before we get out of here, and that's because it's going to be really quick. What did you guys think of the trailer of the Black Myth, Wukong, which is basically the Monkey King? What did you think about that trailer, guys?
Oh, this one was fire.
Yeah,
I thought it
That was
was pretty good from what I saw. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's probably the best next gen game I've seen thus far, which is funny because it's not even It's on Unreal Engine 4. It's not even
Yeah, it's
Unreal
not even
Engine
Unreal
5.
5. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
but
we'll
it's probably yeah, it's definitely the best game out of it.
we'll get into that now. We'll talk more about that as well. I wanted to get into it, but then yet I wanted to have everybody around to talk more about it. PK, did you have anything you want to say about it?
Actually, I haven't seen it, so I have no comment.
Oh, what you? Oh my God, that's right up your alley. I can't believe you haven't seen that yet.
I I literally let you know I've been gaming and I've been
I,
buried. I haven't even put out no content. I
uh,
literally busy.
okay, all right, yeah, no, that game, it looks stunning. Slayer, what did you have any thoughts about it?
Uh, just oh my god, my jaw is on the floor still.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds so funny. Like yo, it blew me away. I have no more superlatives to give.
Yeah, no, no doubt about that. Yeah, no, it was excellent. We'll definitely talk a little bit more about that. I will show some the trailer of it hopefully next week. I thought I added it in last night, but I don't know. I had so many things I had to do. I had to be up real early this morning to do a whole bunch of other stuff. Real world issues, of course. So yeah, no, but that game looked absolutely fantastic, man. It's supposed to be coming to Xbox. That's one of the topics that probably we need to lead off on is like to save face compared to what they've so the lacking of what they did with the Xbox One era with missing out on so many dope ass titles. Um, this game right here, this is a testament. If this game, which it should be coming to Xbox, this would show that Xbox is definitely moving in the right direction. Because if this game didn't come to Xbox, that would be a travesty in my opinion. That's for sure. But anyway, all right, everybody have a good one, man. You can catch me. Uh, I'll I'll be streaming tomorrow. I'll probably be doing my sports night thing. So you can come check me out. I had a lot of fun doing that doing that yesterday last week. I caught some L's, but it was in a learning experience. And then the last game I blew dude out, felt good. So that was mean I was getting my game up. So I'll definitely be doing that. But anybody wants to join in, want to play some NBA 2K, want to play some Madden, let me know. We'll do this. We'll do this new thing that I'll be doing on Saturdays. Also, Sunday night fight night. It's going to be Sir X Man special because it's his birthday tomorrow. So all the games that we'll play, it'll be his pick. And so, of course, just get ready for that. It's going to be wild and crazy as usual. Appreciate all the people that's been supporting Fight Night, man. It was really good. It was fun to play Street Fighter V for the first time in a very long time. And man, seeing how much that game has improved. That game was so bad when it first launched, and then even after the first season, and I just stopped playing it because it just wasn't worth it. But now the game is a lot more polished. It's a lot better than what it used to be, and I would say people to give it a chance now because it is a lot better. So, all right, guys, we'll check you guys later. Thank you so much. We out. Peace.